Hey guys, thank God it's Friday. Reef Chat, because why not? Let me do a little work here. Get a Hangouts link going so we can get hanging out. Hey Bubba, hey Jay Carey. You guys are quick. Famous now. I was on Reef Radio. You guys see me? I was on Reef Radio. I swear it. I was on the Reef Radio. Hey, Fishy Snowman's here. Where you been, buddy? Okay, that's not it. Oh, hold on. I clicked the wrong side. Okay, chat's moving so quick I can't even copy my own damn link. Which is cool. We're getting there. That should get everybody in. I'll get rid of this one up here. Bubba got fast internet. You seen me? Well, you didn't see me. You guys heard me. I thought that was pretty cool, though. Steve's all right. I've been following Steve a long time. Well, not a long time. So, oh, this light's like killing it, huh? I don't know. So what? Is anybody going to join us? Or y'all just want to chat all night? I'll go to bed. You guys can chat. So that's crazy with Farm Boy, huh?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's the Snowman. How you been, bro?
I'm cool. I'm chilling, bro.
Yeah, Friday night. Got a beer?
Yeah.
All right, good. How's the Nano doing?
Nano is doing really good. All the diatoms are gone.
Nice.
Buying corals cost me a fortune.
It always does. I saw you loading it up with some Zoes. That was nice.
I'm gonna go all Zoas. That's my plan.
That's cool. That's gonna look great on that scape too.
Yeah, man. I got a couple this week, and I bought about 12 Zoas, and one or two of them ain't opening, so I'm a little worried. But we'll see what happens. Give it another day or two.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just a little. They got to get used to your flow and your lights. That's all.
Yeah.
But if you got the rest of them opening, that's good.
Things are looking good, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. So you liking the saltwater tank? You still got them cool clowns too?
Yep, the clowns are doing good. I'm working on a custom lid for my tank. That's going to be a video. I don't want to talk too much about it. It's something you guys are gonna. I think you guys are gonna really
Gotta
like.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Fishy Snowman. That's right. You ain't sub to him. Get a sub on there.
Thanks, Dave.
No, that's all right, definitely, because you're new to saltwater, but your little shrimp tanks and things like that, your freshwater stuff is really good. I mean,
Thanks, man.
I had freshwater, but I had cichlids. You know, I bred Oscars, I bred angelfish back in the day, and once I went to the saltwater, I just felt like I couldn't go back. But then seeing what some of you guys are doing now with the shrimp and everything, that's pretty cool tanks too, and the plants. You know, that's serious. So. Now you're doing both. Did Billy tell you he pulled a fishy? We were busting you the other day. Did we lose you? Oh, you're muted. You've actually made it into the hobby. You can pull a fishy snowman now. He left the coral outside.
Oh man, I'm never gonna live that down, man. It felt so bad.
Oh, he packed it up for somebody. He walked outside to smoke a cigarette, put it down, forgot all about it. It was like a cup of green goo the next day.
That's me and Dave's meeting the first time. I'm never gonna live that down.
Oh, that's all right. At least it wasn't anything high end or nothing.
Oh yeah, I owe you for that one. Don't worry, buddy.
Oh
Glad to.
no, it's no biggie. You
I know.
start growing them all over the place. You give me some cool ones.
I will. I will.
Yep.
We're not far from each other.
Nah. I went and met the big guy today.
Who's that? Oh.
Not Billy Pipes, the other big
Oh,
guy.
did you really?
Yeah. We went to his Ocean Galleries that he goes to. It's a nice store.
Nice.
Nice store. It's out on 22. It's really not that far out of the way for you.
I gotta check that place out. I know.
Yeah, 22 sucks, but I think there's a way to just hop right off 78 and you're almost there.
I went last week to the place that he did a video on Ocean Reef Connection, or I don't know if I'm saying it right. Reef Connection.
Okay. Is it South Jersey or no? The one.
No, it's up in
Okay.
PA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he goes on damn tours. He knows all the places.
Well, I'm learning them too. Believe me, I'm learning. I was like, between him and Scott, I'm like, yo, tell me all the spots, man. I'm like, I told my wife, road trip this weekend.
Yep. There's that one down in Ocean County that they really like. All of them like it. Ed goes there too.
Okay.
I forget the name of it, but one of them will tell you. He's like got initials. Aquarium something care center.
Yeah, Ocean. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Maybe
about.
it's Aquarium Care Center. Maybe it's ACC. They're always talking about.
Yeah.
But they like that place too. But this place was nice. The guy was cool. We were talking to him for a while. I picked up a little frag with two little cool mushrooms on it. One's like white with bubbles on it, and the other one's like orange with green lines in it. I was like, this is cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I stopped at Absolute Fish on the way home and bought an acro frag too. So I was like, wow, I didn't think I had any money, but and once you start buying, you can't stop, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's killing. I swear, this little 25-gallon tank, I gotta be in. So I don't even want to say how much I'm in.
Nah, you can't. You can't put those numbers in, and never write them down because your wife will find them.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Oh, she only knew.
She's all right. She's hiding stuff from you too. What's up, Pat?
What's up, Snowman? How you doing?
Pat, man, what's up, buddy? I see you on Instagram.
Yep, just signed on this week.
That's a cool stuff, buddy.
Yeah.
Who else in here? Diver Down's in here too. Cool.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Snowman? What's up, Murph?
What's up, Dave?
Goodbye.
Diving down. What's up, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing?
Great. Friday. What more can we ask for?
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow. Ain't Friday for me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have to work every other weekend for 3 days in a row. So.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna need the money. Got another one on the way.
Yeah.
Hey, 180 mixed reef. What ratio do I use? I don't go by gallon on Miracle Mud. I go to get an inch to an inch and a half in whatever area I'm putting it in, because that's there may be, if you're worried about using it for trace elements, there may be a pounds per gallon ratio. Like the 2 pounds says it only works in a 30-gallon tank. But I threw a 10-pound bag in there. I had an inch and a half where I needed it. And to me, that's good. That's enough depth to handle the nitrates. And I'll tell you, I got no nitrates. I don't know if it's all the Chaeto or what the mud is feeding the Chaeto to help it grow. But
Dave, your mic's matrixed.
it's grabbing. Okay. Let's see if I can try and remove.
Get a new mic, Dave.
I got a new mic.
Well, that's a cool planning tank.
That's my little guppy tank, man. Leave it and forget it. I don't do anything to this tank. Just top it off.
That's nice. Sometimes I wish I would have just done a planet tank, but I don't think that would satisfy my needs.
Yeah, man. You know, it's all good. The only reason I got into saltwater is because of freshwater shrimp. I bought an RO system, and now I'm like going crazy.
Heck yeah.
How's that shrimp tank going there, Snowman?
I'm actually upgrading. I'm putting all my shrimps into the 75-gallon tank. But that's a work in progress. The lights went off already. Let me show you guys something. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the lights on real quick. This is I'm trying to make it. I got like 5, 6 fish tanks, and this is my biggest tank. And I'm trying to keep things very simple because I can't handle all the tanks. So
That's nice.
this is my 75-gallon tank.
Like that.
Does mic work any better?
Yep.
Okay.
Sound good, Dave.
Yeah, it just craps out every once in a while. I don't know if I lean against a wire or my computer just says, screw you, you don't get this mic.
Sounds okay right now.
Yeah, it's a really decent mic. I picked it up used, but it's a Blue Yeti mic. The thing's like, I don't know, 12 inches tall. It looks really cool.
Yetis are only good for coolers, man. You should know that.
What's that?
Yetis are only good for coolers.
I'm glad you told me that.
Freaking expensive, man.
I was thinking about buying one of those Yeti microphones. So.
This one's crapping out, but it's used. Maybe that's why it was used. Good evening. Good evening. They're like $2 and change. I ain't paying that for a microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's his computer. Anybody else here?
I'm here. What's going on, everybody? This is Nate.
Nate.
What happened? Everybody just crapped out for a minute.
I don't know. Yeah. Put us on pause, I guess. Man, you know, kind of like what you talking about on Rotter Tube. I just cleaned my refugium out. I had all that pond matrix in there.
Yep.
Man, there was so much crap in there, dude. It was stupid.
I hate that shit.
It's a detritus trap, all of it, even crushed coral. I mean, it's just...
I had it for 3 days and I removed it.
I just got some ChemiPure, not ChemiPure, what's the Marine Pure spears coming. So.
Okay, well, that's going to kind of do the same thing, no?
Not as bad as Matrix.
I wonder if you poured like Miracle Mud or some kind of sand all around that to fill in the gaps, if it would help or if it's just a waste at that point.
A waste.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know. But
well, I guess we need a way to clean your sump automatically. I'm not going to say the hashtag because I don't want to get fined.
I run my matrix through my reactor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do that. You can even stir it up once a week if you think about it. I have a whole chamber where it returns, where people normally have a filter sock. I have that all filled with pond matrix, rubble rock, old frag plugs, whatever I could stick in there. And I'm sure it's a detritus trap, but it goes into that bale of Chaeto after that.
You got a lot of flow running through it. Wouldn't it stop the that buildup?
It might. And it's also, I have it tuned so there's a lot of agitation. You know, there's a lot of air coming down, which I know costs me evaporation, but I feel it's oxygenating it too. So I don't know.
That's why I like to run mine through my reactor, because I get a lot of flow right through it, you know?
Yep. It keeps it airborne or water.
Exactly. It doesn't sit around and cause problems.
Yeah, throw it out somewhere where something can either eat it or filter it out.
Exactly.
Yep.
So here's my project of the day.
What is that, Pat? Mud?
Yeah. Stuff nobody's ever seen. I got a purple gorgonia there.
Cool.
That's
you planted them in the mud, huh? You planted them in the mud.
Yep.
Right. That's miracle mud?
Yeah.
Yep. Kitty litter.
Expensive kitty litter.
I was trying to find shorter containers, but I can't find a shorter one. This one's a dollar store.
Right. You can go deeper if you wanted to, but
it's like 2.5 inches.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And then I got some issues, man. This SPS is melting away.
Ah, shit.
But that's the big tank.
Yeah,
I think all the detritus and shit in there was something just ain't right with this tank.
I don't know. Did your alk drop? Everybody in this area's alk seemed to drop this week. And you say maybe the warm weather spiked more. People open the window maybe, and it's that simple. Your pH goes up and your alk bounces down a little bit, and your corals grow and take up more.
I haven't checked it, but it wouldn't surprise me because my pH went up to 8.3 the other day.
Yep. Check your alk, bro.
Yeah, I guess I better.
The only reason I tested everything is I had a stylo start to STN from the base, from the middle out. And, hey, Paul, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. Oh, he came in and went, no. So it started bailing out. And I was like, oh, what's going on with this coral? Let me check. And I tested everything, and I never do that. And everything was fine except the alk was a little low. Mm-hmm. But then I remembered I was filling up my ATO, and as I was doing that, it stirred up all that sludge on the bottom, the kalkwasser sediment. So as that was all mixing and getting all in the ATO, it called for ATO. So it squirted this cloudy, kalkwasser mess into my tank. That's probably what burned it out.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But it's only that one coral.
I got the miracle mud when I got home today, and we was getting ready to leave to go get containers right after I got off work, and I noticed my ATO was the way I got my refugium set up. The screen going over to the return section was plugged up, so it just kept filling up with water. So my salinity dropped from 1.026 to one specific gravity to 1.023. That should be all right, shouldn't it, if it's just like a day?
Slowly bring it back up.
Yeah, you just throw a little salt water in your ATO. Or put some salt water in your tank, make it a little higher.
Put it in the sump.
Yeah, I poured a little extra salt water in my sump when I was low. So now when it evaporates, it'll come down.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it evaporates back to the right level, it should be all right if I just leave it alone, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. As long as you don't fill it too much that if the power goes out, you're going to make a mess on the floor,
No.
Everybody knows what you got in there.
Talking about power, so here's something. I live in an apartment building, and somewhere in March, they're gonna turn off the whole, like, there's 3 wings, A, B, and C wing.
Right.
They're gonna turn off the whole power for 8 hours in the whole C wing, which is where I live. I'm effed. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I'm gonna have to have a tank with no power for 8 hours.
Get a cheap generator, bro.
Yeah.
I can't, unless they make electric generators.
Oh, they make the battery operated ones. Hey, Paul.
Hey,
nice
Dave.
Sunny there, and you still in India?
Oh, man.
Wow, a month.
Well, the weather's like that.
Look at that. Lucky bastard.
Dave, we need to move, man. Looks like these European guys, they live in the life.
I know. This guy goes on real vacations.
Freaking a month vacation? What is that?
I go down the shore.
You're lucky if I get 2 days.
Too warm. I think what time is it? It's nearly 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And it's 28 degrees Celsius.
Damn. It's almost midnight here in New York.
Barbecue day.
Yeah, looking good, Paul. When are you coming home, Paul? I know you don't want to think about it. Oh, tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. Not good time.
Is it a long flight?
I don't want to move. Yeah, it's about 8 hours plus an hour and 10. About 9 hours, 10 minutes flight.
Wow. Yeah, don't think about it. Enjoy your day.
Oh, I will do. I will do. I just said to Mrs. and said, I'm going to jump on Dave's stream. She's like, you fish stuff when you're on holiday. I'm like, all right.
And I just broke up with my girlfriend, so I think it was tank related. I think I made the right choice.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Thank
Fisher
our
never
wife.
took that.
Yeah,
Fisher
well,
never took that.
wives are expensive to get rid of, so this was just a girlfriend. It was just all right. See you later. No problem.
What I said.
Not gonna go write breakup songs about you or nothing.
Oh, I haven't. She's telling me off now for smoking.
Oh yeah, exclusive.
Right.
Billy's telling you, you definitely get some battery operated stuff. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm looking into that. Billy, send
They
me a
got
link
air
or
pumps.
something.
Yeah, they got the air pumps, and you just put some stones in there. Keep it circulating. Try and keep it warm.
Huh.
Those APCs, battery backups for the computers and stuff, they don't run your tank that long. You
Yeah,
don't get a lot out of the battery.
you only get maybe 20, 30 minutes out of those.
It depends on your usage. Who's really squealing? Man? Is that Paul? Somebody's hurting my ears. I got headphones in.
It's not me.
No.
It might be.
No,
Gotta use a VPN.
you sound all right. Look at them shades. He's the new CJ over there.
Gotta wear them when the weather's like this. It's just too hot.
It looks nice out, and you look good over there, Paul.
Good.
Vacation's doing you well.
It is. I'm gonna jump off and get an evil eyes off of Mrs.
I appreciate you stopping in, but don't get in trouble on my account.
I'll jump on. It won't be tomorrow. Monday.
Who's watching? Who's watching your tank, Nick?
Oh no, my daughter.
Your daughter. Okay, good. That Nick guy's trouble.
Right. I'll catch you soon then, lads. See you later.
All right. Thanks, bud. Can anybody help with DKH? What's up, Nano Man?
What about it?
I don't know. That was the question so far.
What's up,
Jeff? When he gets back to us, you can even come in, Nano Man. Just got to click a link. I'll put another one in there. It's easier if you come in and talk about it. We have a pretty good panel of experts here.
Don't listen to anything I say.
Yeah, Jeff. Hey,
what's up,
Jeff?
What's up, Pat? How are you?
You home?
Great.
Doing great. Yeah, I just got home.
Ah, that's rough.
Yeah. You know what? I don't even know what time it is. What is it? Almost 1? No, 12.
It's 12. My son just went up to Vernon.
12 to 12 today.
We were working on his car. We couldn't get the frickin' axle.
How the hell did Dave leave?
He's having technical difficulties.
Oh, there he is. Found him.
I keep dropping the freaking Google Hangouts. It keeps pausing. I don't know what's going on.
You got an old laptop or anything?
I do.
It might be it.
I mean, it's not that old. It works all the other times. Maybe can't handle the cool microphone.
Overload.
Yeah. I was busting Rico. Let's see how many people got watching. We've got 19. He had like 27 today. I said, Rico, this is like one of my streams. He got pissed.
He was on today? I didn't even see a notification.
Just a little bit. Maybe it was yesterday. No, it was it was today because I told him I was going to meet Billy.
Yeah, he was on this morning.
Okay, Billy got Nano Man. He's telling him everything about DKH. Oh, you're around 6.79 consistently. That's not good. All right, I was talking about this earlier. Check your refractometer. It's the simplest thing. When you can't get your DKH or you're struggling trying to hit a number on calcium, check your refractometer with a calibration fluid that's near the salt water of your tank. Don't just test it to RO. Oh, your pH is always getting low. You may have an oxygen problem in your home. You have a lot of people, and it's wintertime. You get the windows closed. You're using up all the oxygen. Your tank's not getting any, so it can't break up the CO.
Meldium's dropped down to like 6 something, and he had a tank crash because his tank was in his room, and his girlfriend was sleeping in there in the bedroom, and it was taking all the oxygen out of the air pretty much.
Wow.
What he told me. I asked him if he could run an airline from another room into the tank. I think he tried it, and it started going back up a little bit.
Yeah, if you can get an airline from your skimmer port to outside, that is one of the best things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks the oxygen in, and it just puts it right in your water through the skimmer. That should help your pH.
Yes.
All right, Billy. When you get a chance, what do I need for the solar panel backup thing? Because everything that I'm looking at solar related is like $1,500 to like $5,000.
Harbor Freight, bro.
Yeah, but what do I need?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
I wonder if you could get some of those hand warmer heat packs and throw them in a bunch of plastic bags. I mean, I know they take air to warm, but even if they're only good for like an hour and a half or 2 hours a pack, I wonder if that would work.
No, I'm not worried about the heat because my heaters never come on because my apartment by nature is just warm. So it's constantly like 77.8 to like 78.3.
Good God.
Yeah. Dennis, it doesn't matter how long the line is going outside because it's just the air in the line isn't touching the air in your house. So it's still going to keep the oxygen in it. I have about 25 foot.
I drilled through the mortar in my brick. It's just,
oh no!
Bye, Dave.
You guys still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
There he is. Peekaboo.
There's no salt in that.
Hangouts keeps kicking me out and bringing me back.
I had a phone call, guys. Sorry.
Oh, you probably crashed the whole stream.
Did I really?
No, I don't know. It keeps kicking me and everybody else is fun. The stream ends. If I don't come back in, it'll end, and then I'll have to start another one. Or you guys can just stay in Hangouts all night. Either way, it's fine with me.
If it keeps doing, let's start another one.
Yeah.
Look, food.
I hope I wasn't mid-sentence when it stopped, because when I'm talking, everybody's behaving and nobody's talking. But then when I stop talking and I don't hear anybody else talking, I know it cut me off.
Yeah.
Yavo's not in here tonight, so.
Is that Nana Petite?
Huh?
I was talking to Snowman.
That is actually Nano, not petite, but it's a white version.
Cool.
Look at this. Guy's giving us a tank tour.
I kill every freshwater fish I have ever owned.
Really?
Fish or plant?
Yep. Both.
Every plant I ever tried to do back in the day was just gone.
I originally set my cube up just to have freshwater fish, and they died.
Yeah.
I let it sit for like a month with like a couple platies in it, just to try to cycle it and stuff. And, so like 2 months in, I kept testing the alkalinity or whatever, and it was still like above 8. And that was on a freshwater tank, and I kept killing them all. And I said, "Screw it, I'm going back to what I know."
Yeah.
And it began again.
Here's the problem. Every time I go over onto YouTube to read the chat, that's when it shuts me off. So that's my issue. Sorry, guys.
You want me to get my tablet out?
No. We'll just run it crazy tonight. It don't matter.
There you go. Free ride.
Free ride. What are they going to do? Demonetize me? They did that already.
Can't take nothing else from you.
That's right. Let's put some Led Zeppelin on or something.
There you go.
Do it.
Screw them. Nah, I got to get my watch hours up a little bit. I was surprised. When the year started, I had about 100 subscribers. So obviously I wasn't getting the watch time. I wasn't hitting a good level. So when I go back and they're looking at the last year, I'm a little bit short. You're supposed to have like 240,000 watch minutes, and I have 220,000. So more live streams, I'll be solid.
Nice. You gotta have that. You gotta keep that up every year, then, right?
Yeah, I guess they can look back at any point. 12 months, you got to have that time. But I will have it. It's not that hard.
I just joined in, Dave. How close are you?
Oh, sub-wise, I need, I don't know, less than 200. But the watch time, I'm 20,000 minutes out of 240,000. So a couple of live streams, I'll catch up. By the time I have the subs, those first couple of months won't matter. So I should be fine.
You have to have both. It's not one or the other. You have to have both of them.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
They call it, they do it 4,000 hours, but it's, they tell you how many you have in minutes, so you got to do the math.
No, I might as well not even put any more videos out then.
I feel you. I feel you, Dave. I was feeling that pressure too.
Yeah. A lot of people were close and just made it. I know Nano Joe, they were saying he needs like 19 more subs, and he's good.
Yeah.
He hasn't been doing much, right?
Right. He hasn't been doing much. And back when I had 100, he had like 300 or 400. So, and
I understand why YouTube did it. It's just
no, I get it too. It's just a little kick in the ass.
It was definitely not the email I wanted to read one day in the middle, in the evening when I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. Thanks a lot.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm not even worried about it. It's not the money. It was like $2-3 a week. I was just ready to get my first paycheck. Yeah. So it's not even the money. It's just, hey, you can do this. Hey, now you can't. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, more for me, it was just the fact that it was like, well, if you don't make the deadline, you're going to have to reapply. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I still don't understand. They flag my videos as being inappropriate for advertisers, which I still don't understand.
They do it to everybody. For some
you make all your stuff.
Yeah.
You make all your stuff.
No, it has not.
I mean, I contest them immediately, and usually within a day they put it back. But
yep, it's the robots are just picking up certain things and they shut them down. And at first we thought it was the word reefer, so I made a video with no mention of reefer in the tags or the description or the title, and it still got flagged. I didn't even have music in that video.
Well, when I first hit that, I changed my description to say, this is for educational purposes. And that stopped the flagging of some of the videos, but then it's like the algorithm adapted to that. And now it still flags them periodically, which I still don't understand why it flags them. I wish I knew.
I think it flags them now. It doesn't grab every one, but I think it flags them if you don't have 1,000 views within a certain amount of time. Which somebody like CJ, not a problem.
The funny thing is, though, Dave, is that I like a lot of my videos. I always drop one on a Sunday at 7 a.m. Central. Before they even get released, they get flagged before they even get released.
Right. Now somebody said you can put it as not private. What's the other one? Unlisted. So they said you can put it as unlisted. So I kept one in unlisted for a week and nothing happened. So I published it and then they flagged it.
Yeah, it's really funny though because they say if you contest how they rate the video, it has to have at least 1,000 views for they look at it, but that's not true. Most of them within one business day have been reviewed and put back.
Right. Yeah, that's all. You have to go to your video manager and look at your videos and see if they got that flag, and then you can test it, check the box, and they usually clear it right up. But channels like me and you, Alex, that's when we're getting all of our views. You know, a lot of your updates, you get most of your views right there in the first 48 hours, and that's what they're screwing with. So, I don't know.
Yeah, which is it's kind of an interesting deal that they have. I mean, I understand it, but I don't at the same time. I mean,
I don't
think that their algorithm would be able to look at what your channel's been doing for the last 6 months, year, and say, yeah, he doesn't have any problems. He's probably okay, or she's probably okay.
What I was explained to you is them wanting to do is pretty much replace TV with people watching YouTube.
Well, it has for most of us.
Who watches TV?
Yeah, we're all here.
Yeah, I understand that, but a lot of people don't, you know. So they pretty much want to get more views, and like if you notice, YouTube, you can actually watch like local channels and stuff on it now if you pay them.
That YouTube
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want it to be more like TV.
Yeah, they think they're Netflix or something.
Yeah.
I do think it's going that way. It just
sorry, guys. Everybody's staring at Fishy Snowman.
Well, Fishy loves you.
It was your icon on YouTube for like last 10 minutes.
I think in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a big revolution with media. TV's not going to be what it was.
Oh, that's good because cable's a ripoff.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I got like 8 HBOs and a couple of Showtimes, and there still ain't shit to watch.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I don't need nothing but YouTube. Dave's Nano Tank.
That's it, 24/7. Dave TV. Hey, TMG, I'm gonna mute you, all right? Because you're like dropping shit and stuff. When you got something to say.
I haven't been able to join too often, Dave, but I gotta say you're stepping it up pretty heavy with these live streams. I like it.
Yeah, I just got the hang of it. One day I did it, and I was like, "Oh, this is easy." I basically run Paul's. He starts one and goes to bed.
It gives me something to do when I get home at 11 o'clock.
Like, I saw you in one of my live streams, and you're like, "Why no Hangouts?" And I'm like, I'm not going to administer that through my phone.
No, you can't. You need to do it on the laptop. And I was just about to start one. I think Billy asked me to start one, and I saw you had one going, so I said, "No, let's roll with Alex." And then I was like, "What? No Hangout?"
Yeah, I'm going pure phone on it, so
it's all right. No, it's cool. When nothing's going on, start one up. My biggest fear of starting one was Rico was really putting them out there for a while since he got those Radeon lights, and I figured once I start one, he's going to start one, and everybody's going to be over there anyway.
And that's one of the things too. Is like there's a good chunk of us that all know each other, and I kind of look at it and go, "Well, hey, if someone else got a live stream going. There's no point in splitting audiences. Just let them have that. You know, it'll be a lot of we all get together and have a lot of fun."
Mm-hmm. I was going to start one the other day, and I texted Rico, and he called me back because Rico don't text. And he said, no, I'm going to start one in a little while. He was just coming home from the gym. And he ran it all day. Rico's got a good stream. You know, he pulls in a lot of people. And
Rico's a machine, I tell you that.
yeah, he loves doing it. He runs it for like 20 minutes before he lets people join. Not me. I'm like, let me get the link out there. I ain't running a show.
Yeah, I think I am now a veteran of 2 live streams, so every now and then I think I'm going to run one. But
yep. Well, you should do it through the laptop. It's just nice to let people join in. It takes pressure off of you.
Yeah.
You know, you can't go to the bathroom when it's just you.
I have my desktop and I can run it through that, but I don't have a webcam, so I got to do it through the phone, and I can't sit next to the area when I do it.
No. Just start the Hangouts on your desktop and then join on your phone, and you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah, I guess my only concern I ever get is just the administrative part of it. It's just making sure that, don't have any problems.
Right. Well, then you got to put some wrenches out there too.
Yeah.
Right now I can't even see the chat. I can't even see the chat, but I know Reef and Widow's over there. I know Phil's over there. Bubba's over there. Steve. So I don't got to worry about nothing.
I'm going to get my laptop. Just turn my tablet in case there's any questions. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Every time I go over there, it boots me. So I run over there every once in a while and drop a link. So I have that issue when I'm on Hangouts. When I go back to YouTube, it's not live, and then I got to watch the chat scroll. Like the chat stops while I'm on the other page. So
yeah, that's my one thing with the phone is that I've kind of been like, once I get on a Hangout or a live stream, like at least on the live stream I could see the chat, but a Hangout, it's like I'm almost afraid to switch between, because if I do, it might lock up.
yeah, no live stream king here. I'm not giving Rico any kind of competition. I get Billy Pipes calling me up saying start a live stream, and you don't say no to Billy Pipes. You ever see how big that guy is?
Well, hey, I'll tell you this, Dave. I wouldn't be as concerned about Billy as I would about some of his LPS corals that are on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Because he might send one of those. He might ship a coral to you that's going to beat you up.
Yeah, I know. He might feed me to an A-can. I saw him today, and he gave me 2 T5 fixtures, and I was like, what do you want for him? He's like, nothing. I just want you to be T5 power, man. I was like, how cool is that?
Billy's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. He's got a whole fish store in his basement, too.
Billy's awesome.
I look forward to hopefully meeting you guys one day if I ever get out to the East Coast. So.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you guys at? Where you at?
He's in Chicago.
I live out in Chicagoland.
Yeah. Come to
We got to go to Tidal Gardens, July.
Oh, yeah. Tidal Gardens barbecue.
I heard about it, and I've been kind of humming and hawing, because at the same time I really would like to go to MACNA in Las Vegas.
Right.
So
Ohio's a car trip. Come on.
Well,
how far away are you from Naperville, Alex?
Naperville, 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's where I used to live. I lived out there for 2 years.
I've never been to Chicago. I was in Michigan. I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I'm about 20 minutes west of Naperville on I-88.
Yeah.
Well, 10 minutes if traffic's good.
I miss Portillo's.
I'm about 20 minutes west. Portillo's it's funny if you're ever on Aaron's Aquarium's live stream, ask him about Portillo's and see what he says, because I went and got him that for lunch when he was here for Chicago Aquatic Experience. Yeah. And he was like, evil Alex.
Oh, yeah. Rico talks about that. He drools when it comes up.
All right. If there's anybody in the chats that has questions or anything, I'm watching now. So
Oh, Billy's Pat's watching. Look out.
Yeah, I'm not even a true Chicagonian. I'm a Detroiter. Where you go to Chicago, you get yourself a good deep dish pizza, and then you get yourself an Italian beef, and you're going to be in good shape.
Yep. Then you watch a hockey game.
Well, let's not go too far. I'm from Detroit, and Blackhawks Red Wings isn't the best of rivalries.
Oh, no, I know. I'm right here on the Jersey-New York border. You should see a Devils-Rangers game. You know somebody's going to have a fight.
Go Rangers.
Yep.
God, the Rangers
That's okay, Dave. I hear New Jersey Devils. It brings back nightmares of the 90s.
Yeah, that's my team.
The Rangers are just terrible.
Oh, they're going to replace the whole team. That's just funny.
Well, they just got rid of Grabner, right?
I don't know. I don't really follow it. It's like I went to a hockey game with my son. They used to give out tickets at work. So now my son's really into it because he was young and he went to he was going to live games like for a whole season.
We just got rid of our top scorer for a second-round pick next year and some crappy defenseman.
Well, we started going when Brodeur was in, so.
I haven't even watched a hockey game since like preseason, just about, because more or less my time is come home, work on the Reef Aquarium, spend time with my wife, or work on YouTube videos.
I know. I haven't even watched the Winter Olympics. I don't even know if they're over, who won.
I've watched some of them, and they were pretty good. I especially like the person that used the loopholes to get into the half pipe competition. That was pretty funny to watch.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember what country they were with, but they used some kind of loopholes so that they could make the Olympic team. And literally, they went down the skiing half pipe to do where people are doing all kinds of fancy tricks, and literally they couldn't do any, but it was enough to where they were like, oh, I could jump up and down it and not fall. And that was like their Olympic dream, and they did it through going through loopholes.
Okay.
It's creative.
Yep.
Roscoe said, can you split your screen so you can see the chat too?
Oh, yeah, I can, but it's locking up.
No.
You can see it. Is there anything I need to see?
Somebody said you're doing a coup to take Rico's live stream king title away from him.
Okay, I saw that. I even made a comment. Yeah, I'm not trying to take nothing from Rico because I ain't doing no weekend marathon. I go to bed.
Now,
17 hours live stream.
Yeah. I shut it down. I go to bed.
There's something I just saw on YouTube, which I have to say I got, considering I wrote an article about it on Reef to Reef, I'm a little disappointed that somebody used it in the title, where I see the American Reef Channel has said, who's got the best bioluminescing reef tank? And they're talking about Sanjay Yossi's tank, which it fluoresces really great, but that's not bioluminescent.
Right. We need something that glows in the dark because it's, bioluminescent. Exactly.
And I'm not trying to say it's a great video, but I'm very tempted to email him because he doesn't have comments on there and say, here's like an actual peer-reviewed scientist definition of bioluminescence versus fluorescence.
Right.
Maybe retitle. Just so that you're not, getting people the wrong idea, because they are really different. I gotta ask you, Dave, how's that mantis shrimp doing, man?
Oh, he's great. I just feed him. He lives in a 1/2-inch pipe. I want to put him in the other display, but the other display has a deep sand bed. I know he'll disturb it by burrowing. I do have a screen when it's down. I have a screen 1 inch down, so he really can't go further than an inch.
Now, I haven't. I couldn't really tell from the video. Is it a club? It looked like it was a club.
Yeah, he's a clubber, but he's kind of brown, and yeah, I don't see him much. That's why I want to put him in the display so I can watch him hunt. He's in the back of my sump. I have to open a door, and they see so well that once I open the door, he's already looking at me by the time I find him.
I mean, even if you got a screen 1 inch down, you're probably fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that fiberglass screening they use for stucco.
Well, what I would probably do too is that if you decide to put him in the tank, because what is he, about an inch long?
He's a little longer than an inch long, but he's thin and long. Yeah, about an inch and a half.
What you could do is get a bunch of, first I'd try to give it a positive ID, and I think somebody on there had given you Roy Codwell's list of the monopods. See if you can't identify it off of that, and then look at its environment. But more than likely, what you could do is get some, if you can get some little pieces of rubble rock and smash them with a hammer or something and make them like a 16th to a quarter inch.
Then he can build his own burrow. I know.
Yeah, put them in a little pile.
Wants to know where you got the shrimp from.
Absolute Fish. He was $5. He came in as a hitchhiker.
Really?
Yeah.
They have a $30 one that's bright yellow, beautiful, and they have another one.
Oh, is it a spear?
That's green. What's that?
Is the $30 one a spear?
No, they're all clubbers. Because I'll poke around with the glow rod that you used to point at frags, and you can hear them across the store clicking that thing.
Well, the surprising thing is that even my one yellow spear mantis, it will not use its spears, and it will use its raptorial appendages as a club on occasion.
Right.
It can make the noise and choose not to use the spear, but it's something to look at because one thing a lot of people don't know is that even though you have a club, they actually do have a spear on them as well. They just very rarely use it unless it's for defense.
And they have 6 pairs up front, or 3 pairs up front, and 2 pairs just used for walking.
Is it true is it true they can break your aquarium?
If they get big enough, they can, but at the small size, no.
So, unless you have like a full size one and thin glass, and I'm thinking like a 10-gallon or a 5.5 gallon or a 2.5 gallon, I would think no. I've never seen it. I've kept clubs up to about 6-8 inches.
Mm-hmm.
They hit the glass and it makes a pretty big noise, but glass absorbs a lot of energy,
especially when it's full of water. Got to understand how hard is it to break a window in a car when it's underwater is one of the issues. You have to wait till the water pressurizes on both sides before you can break the glass.
And they have a ton of force. If you watch National Geographic has a special called Killer Shrimp, which if you're interested in mantis, watch it for sure. And they do some ultra high speed. And I mean, it's fun to watch them smash like a snail or something, how they just continually go at it until they finally shatter it, or a crab. I mean, my spear, that's the first spear I've kept, and I gotta say, watching it hunt is really fascinating. That's why I've made a couple videos on it.
That's why I want to put it into the other display so I can observe it. I didn't buy it just to hide it in the sump.
Somebody on
hang on, Alex.
Somebody on Instagram. This was not shrimp related. Well, it is shrimp related. Somebody put on Instagram, I can't remember who it was, had an alternative to Harlequin shrimp, but these shrimp don't die when they run out of food.
They don't
Can't
just
remember
eat
what kind of-
starfish. Yeah, what type was that? They don't just eat starfish, and they actually look pretty cool too.
Yeah, they look awesome. I can't remember what they were though. Okay, back to your mantis. Sorry.
No, there's a mantis shrimp video on YouTube, and I'm trying to look at it because I have it in my playlist, and it's hysterical. The guy narrates it, classic, and but it's really interesting to watch. It's not that long, and it's very comical. I just need to find it. I put it in a playlist under Reef Help on my channel, but I just want to find out what it's called, and it's hysterical. It goes after a coral-banded shrimp, and the coral-banded shrimp rips off one of its own arms and feeds it to him to keep him away.
No, damn.
He's like, here, take this. Leave me alone. I don't know where it is. It's called Reef Help. Here it is.
True facts about mantis shrimp.
Would that be it? Could be.
Tell it works. Put it on. True facts
okay.
about the mantis shrimp.
Yep, that's exactly what it's called. And they talk about its eyes.
Yeah, and the one thing too, Dave, is that if you get one, if you move that one in, the most interesting behavior I've ever seen with one is that they not only can build a burrow with little rocks and pebbles, but they have the ability to manipulate shapes, which might not seem like a big thing, but when you look at such a tiny animal and they might take that rock and try to put it into a hole and it doesn't fit, they'll actually pull it back and rotate it like a quarter turn or a half turn or one way or another.
Pistol shrimp too.
And that's a really high level of intelligence to be able to do something like that for a tiny little invertebrate.
Yeah, you ever watch a pistol shrimp do that as well? It's incredible.
I've seen them digging. I've never really seen them pick up a rock and manipulate it.
At
least that's what I. Okay.
They do, and I had one pick up a sand sifting star and move him halfway across the tank because he was getting too close.
Let me ask you, Dave. With that pistol shrimp, was there a goby associated with it, or was it by itself?
He wouldn't pair with the yellow Watchman goby. He was a what do they call it, candy cane pistol shrimp. Okay. And he'd never paired with them. They both lived in the tank. They didn't bother each other. They didn't even know of each other. So
it's really interesting, just considering I've seen them not pair as well, but just because their eyesight's so poor,
they use them
that they would take that risk to go out. That's kind of interesting to hear.
Yeah, he did hide most of the time, and a lot of times I wondered if I had him or not, and then I'd hear him snapping at night like a hermit crab got too close to the door. You turn on the light and you see some hermit crabs stumbling around in a daze.
I can't remember if it was. I think it was Blue Planet 2 I was watching, and they looked at pistol shrimp really close and did the high speed. Yeah. And it's interesting when they snap, it's like a jet of superheated water comes out.
Yep, it cavitates the water, creates air, heat, and light.
Yeah.
Can they break your bones if they get you?
The big ones they call thumb splitters, yeah. Guys have split thumbs.
A mantis shrimp?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that a really big club could probably break a bone in your finger potentially. I would be more concerned with it stabbing you though, because that would probably be just as, if not more, painful.
In that video, they talk about one of the octopus. That's one of the main things that they hunt each other, and these things will actually go after the octopus and beat the crap out of it. And the octopus will just be like, "Forget this," and leave. I forget which type of octopus it is, but they actually hunt each other. So it's kind of like a snake and mongoose thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the update on Sunday's tank?
Yeah.
On who's
and that led to my comment that video should not be titled bioluminescence. It should be titled fluorescent.
Oh, Sanjay, right.
Yeah, the one by American Reef Channel. I take it that's that one.
Yeah. I don't like that channel. I like seeing Sanjay and I like seeing Mike Pauletta's stuff, but the guy who narrates, I don't like him. I just can't watch him. Something about him. I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
It's that fish place, the last frag swap.
Yeah, Sanjay's a cool guy.
He was a really nice guy.
Bumblebee shrimps like the Harlequin.
Okay, that's what it is. And they're pretty cool looking if you guys Google it.
I think I actually got some bumblebee shrimps in my tank.
Are they fresh and can go salt? That would be interesting too.
Yeah.
But there is one that will go after the starfish, and a lot of people get the harlequins because you got the Astorina starfish, and they feel there are a few types of Astorina that will damage your corals. Most of them will not.
You know what? I'm not really a fan of these hermit crabs, man. They're taking out my snails.
Yeah, they want the shells.
What?
Yeah.
You know what the best use I've found for hermit crabs are? If they get in a big enough shell and they can stay there for a long time, throw them in a dead spot in your refugium or your return section where there's some detritus, they'll clean it right up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the problem. I got an all-in-one tank, though.
Yeah. They're going to shell jack.
Oh, man, they are tough, man. I'm ready to be done with them.
Yep.
I've got one that's in a zebra snail shell right now. It's like Popeye or something. It's got a huge arm.
Yep. That's the door. That's when they all tuck into the shell. They close the door with that big clipper.
Yeah. Here's a coon squirrel. Anybody else have vermidance worms? They drive me crazy. Yeah, sure do, buddy.
You stir up the sand in your tank, get them all to cast their webs, and then you can find out where they are and get in there with some super glue and shut the door on all of them. That's the best way to do it.
I have some in the big tank, and I hadn't introduced anything in there that I didn't think had it on there. So.
They come inside the rocks, everything.
Well, I had dead rocks too.
Oh yeah. Oh, one tiny one.
Yeah.
Can just come in on a frag.
Has anyone ever found beyond super glue? Has anyone ever found something that's a natural predator to those vermidid snails?
No, if there is, I want one.
I had the Potter's Angel. I had him look like he was eating them before it died. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to worry about him going after coral too. That's why I would think anything that eats them probably is going to go after coral. A parrotfish probably chew them right up, but.
Boy, Dave, you're really not wanting coral, are you? Parrotfish, jeez.
Yeah, it'll turn your Monteporas into sand right before your eyes.
And you know what's funny about that, Dave, is that if you had a big enough and a well-established tank, like I know I think Glenn Fong is a guy that's on YouTube periodically, and he's got butterflies in his reefs.
Yeah.
And he lets them eat the coral, and I mean, if you got enough of it, I mean, it's really cool, but that's the only thing that really deters me from parrotfish is that you really can't feed them properly unless you give them a meal of coral.
Yeah. Otherwise they got to trim their beak like the big puffers.
Yeah.
If they don't trim their beak, then you got to trim it for them, and that's on. You could kill a fish trying to do that.
I watched a video where they actually took a larger dog-faced puffer, and they put it into a anesthetic, and then they got a Dremel tool out and shaved it down, and then woke it up, and I'm just going, man, that's a pretty serious deal to do to your fish, and I think I'm really just feeding them something that wears it down naturally.
Yep, you feed them some crab, some hard shell crabs. You could do it. I've been debating. I saw something about a
a freshwater crayfish that clones itself.
Yeah.
And they're an invasive species in Europe, but they've been looked at as possibly a food source for people. But I just wonder about getting those into an aquarium and letting them clone themselves and using those as a meal periodically for them.
Right, right.
C. Avery says bumblebee snails eat remittance.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, on the,
I just think
I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but I guess on the puffer, this is Reefer Madness, by the way, on the pufferfish thing,
right. Yep.
apparently using cuttlebone that you would use for birds. Apparently, if you can get them to chew on that, that's a way to kind of solve that problem with their beaks.
Great. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't plan on keeping puffers in my reef, but I know Alex has some. He likes a dog face. That's one of my favorite fish too. That's like a dog.
I'll give you an exclusive here, Dave. There's more than one puffer fish in my tank right now, but the last update did not have both of them.
Right.
Unless you are really being careful at looking at some of the video footage. But that is an interesting idea with the cuttlebone. I wonder about taking a piece of food and putting it against that to make them chew on it.
Sure, almost marinate
I would almost say that would work. Yeah, if you could coax them into it.
Sure. Just marinate it, put some frozen mysis on it, and let it sit there for a little bit, get the flavor in there.
What's really funny is, though, I was on O's live stream the other night, yesterday, I think, and I put my viewing box in my big tank, which I don't usually do.
Yeah, I saw
and
you.
my porcupine puffer came up, and he actually grabbed onto the acrylic and started chewing on it.
Oh, yeah.
For like the little tiny edge. And I'm like, really, buddy? Like,
Yep. This guy has
because
footer.
I'm a little more apprehensive to feed him by hand because he's so aggressive.
Yeah.
The last time I tried to hand feed him, he ripped like a 3/4 inch piece of shrimp right out of my hand, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to try and take that back.
Right.
I seen what was it, Aquarium Co-op or whatever, they feed their freshwater puffers clams on the half shell, and they chew right through the clam shell.
Yep. There was some guy who had a huge puffer, like almost 1.5 feet, 2 foot, in like a 250-gallon tank, and the thing would just go back and forth. The guy throw a whole crab in there like you get down the bay, and he just tore him up. He bit his face off.
And that's one of those things is I really want to make I really want to give him something that's a good thing. Like I do the half shell, but unless you can hold it by hand, which maybe I'll get a pair of like stainless steel medical clamps so that I'm not going to get bit. Because my last dog face bit me right between the nail and the skin on my finger.
Yeah.
And I can't say that was a pleasant experience. So
They got a good bite. They're great fish. They are such great fish.
I had a spiny puffer, called him Smoot, and I kept him for a while, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to keep him in my mixed reef. So I sold him to a fella, and unfortunately found out that guy, he was in Nova Scotia. His power went out for 5 days, and he lost about 75% of his livestock, and that was one of the losses. And it was like broke my heart.
Yeah.
So let me ask you on that, Craig. The spiny box puffers, like I've always viewed those as being a more difficult puffer species to keep, just because I don't know if it's just because they don't ship well. I mean, even when we used to get them in stores, they never did as well. What did you have? How long did you keep that? And what was your, key to keeping it happy and keeping it alive?
I had Smoots probably about 7 or 8 months. And then I realized I wanted to go bigger. I was in this weird phase with tanks. I was actually going to quit because I had just gone to a sump, built this cube sump. And like I said, I don't have a lot against forums, but I have some things against forums. And my middle finger just kind of comes up a lot of the time when it's just like, yeah, okay. But I had no problem getting them to feed. And what I did with feeding them was I would go to my grocery store and I was buying Pacific, deveined, uncooked, with the shell still on them shrimp. and I would cut a chunk out and leave that shell on there. And when I fed him, it would still be partially frozen, so that shell would stay stuck because it just comes right off.
Right.
And he didn't care. He was like a dog for me, side to side of the tank, and he just went nuts. And that's what I did. And the other thing was the cuttlefish or the cuttlebone.
Yep.
And I would put it on there, and he would nip at that. I actually, you guys want a heartbreaking story? I have a lot of groups on Facebook that I advertise that the videos trying to get the viewership up for whatever reason. I don't even care at this point, but I still do it because a lot of people ask me questions. And this woman had a spiny puffer, and his beak had to be 2 inches long. And I had to tell her, I said, you got a couple of choices here. You need to get a hold of him. I said, and this sounds crazy. I said, but you need to take nail clippers to his teeth.
Yeah,
I said, if you don't, he's going to starve. He cannot chew now.
Right.
And come to find out, 3 days later, he dropped dead on her. And it's just like, yeah, well, so who sucked you into buying that without telling you what you had to do?
Exactly.
And, it's one of those things. Like, I just had to remove, I don't know if anybody saw the video, but I had to take my powder brown, my gold rim tang out. Because he turned into a big douche nugget. And I mean bad. Like I said, if you watch the video,
he was going after your fox face like crazy.
Oh, just vicious, right? And it just sort of happened. My my grandmother passed away on Sunday, so that's why I've been gone. And I come back to this, and it's not just like at first we saw them they're doing their little dance, and I thought, it'll work itself out. No, that just went full on. Somebody put rogue, and that's exactly it. He just went rogue.
I never saw the fox face try to stab another fish like that fox face was trying to kill him and take him out.
He was. Yeah, Mr. Fox, he was going nuts to kill him. He wanted him gone.
I mean, that's a pretty surprising thing to hear, just because my experience with fox face and rabbit fish in general has always been, even a lot of the aggressive fish, they tend to, they'll be big and tough until they get to the point till the rabbit fish puts its head down and its spine's up, and then they're usually like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, Alex, watch that video. This thing was relentless, and the fox face really was trying to take him out. He really tried his best.
Yeah, I saw your comment, Dave, and it was wild to watch. And my poor starry blenny, jeez, guys, I'm talking like out of the tank, both right into the net every time.
He kept bouncing them off the screen top.
Yeah, and it was just like, what's your channel so I can look at
Reefer Madness.
Okay.
Reefer
Madness.
You remember watching that movie in high school, Alex?
Yeah. You know what I wanted to do, guys? And
you really want to know what year I graduated from high school, Dave? Because it's 2000.
I got you guys beat. I'm probably the oldest guy in here.
1981. Year of 81.
Oh, no, you got me beat, Dave. I was 1988.
See?
Wait,
Craig,
19 what?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Can you drop a comment in the chat so everybody can subscribe to you?
Oh, sure.
Hey, on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
So if you're on a laptop, you can pop over there.
Yeah.
I keep taking a peek.
That's one of the, and I gotta say that's one of the most difficult things is hopping into the Hangouts is that you get to talk to everybody, but you don't see the chat, and you don't get to see everybody's channels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, can you guys hear me okay?
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. I'm going to mute this one somehow. There we go.
Yep.
All right.
I got to give Loki a wrench, too. Because he's always here.
And when I type in Reefer Madness, a lot of stuff comes up that I don't think is you.
You know what? Type red turf algae, because that's how I kind of got started. And you know what's funny is that I thought it was red turf, and guys, I'm not kidding. There's a video, I think the fourth part. I went to my LFS guy up in Fredericton. He's about an hour. My closest store, by the way, for saltwater that I trust is an hour away.
Man, that's rough.
Oh, yeah. And then the next one's an hour and a half. And you know what? I hope he's listening. And I'm not going to swear, but this guy, douche nugget, is the only way. This guy is such a dip. Okay. Somebody called him the other day. I still, now I'm just to the point like, no, I don't care. This guy's got to go. He has actually threatened my life. That's what a douche this guy is.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And it's like, I'm ex-military, buddy. Bring it on.
Yeah,
So,
bring
You
it.
know what I mean? Like
so
you,
to clear
Come
it
at me,
up,
bro.
Craig,
know
you
what it
are
was over? You guys
you
all-
are
sorry.
Reefer.
Go
You're
ahead.
Reefer Madness, right?
Yeah, Reefer Madness. That's me.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, Derek's Reef Shop in Moncton, New Brunswick. I posted a picture in Reddit, and the first comment was, "So how much is it per frag of Aptasia?" Fair enough, right? This is this guy's tank. Bubble algae, got it from him,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? And it's my own fault. I didn't clean my frags or inspect them well enough.
Right.
But for
It
this guy,
happens too.
people will call this fella for an
Alright.
order, and what it will take, what, 6 months, 7 months to get, and that's if you get it, Derek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, wife came in the room. Probably because I was getting upset about Derek.
That's right. As long as she don't yell at you. It's happened on these live streams. Wives come in yelling all the time.
I play World of Warcraft. We call that wife aggro.
Wife Tourette's.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, like, sorry, had to rant. I'm a ranter. You'll see that come on the channel anyway. But it's like the thing is, guys, and now that I'm reading the chat, if you got a question, I went through a crash course in the last 3 years of what not to do, and I think everybody's kind of like that.
Yep.
And I was kind of laughing because I dealt with ick, and that's how I found Steve Roddertube there.
Right.
And it was really funny because I just sort of, I think, took not necessarily what he was talking about, but more the dealing with it and just getting through it. And I ended up dealing with it for 9 months, 7 different fish tanks in my house.
Yep.
And somebody's like, well, why did it take so long? Well, first off, I made the first mistake. I did 6 weeks. You see that everywhere. It's 6 weeks. No, it's not.
Yep.
Okay, fine. I did 2 months.
It's 8 weeks.
That seemed to get it. And then
Almost.
almost, you got it. And it was like, if you look at the video, you can see that 45-gallon bow front that I started with. And everybody went in, and I decided to move, and I, set it up. I had all the tubs around, everything ready, and I was taking the fish out. And thankfully, my 2 clowns, because they're black and they're Darwins, they're black and white. When I picked one up, I saw the spot, and I thought, no, really? No, it couldn't be, right?
Yep.
Sure enough, I had ick again. So on that night, minus 7 degrees Celsius, okay, was what it was outside when we moved. 3 fish tanks got to move, this whole thing. So what I had to do was set up my 30-gallon that I had for a quarantine, set it up, and it took 7 different people helping me. Thankfully, I had that, pulling RO water from Walmart out of the machine so that I could fill this tank up and heat it up, 7 heaters in it to get it up to temp right away.
Right.
So I could put these fish in it and then hit them with the copper. And I got it off them. I didn't lose anybody in tank except for a fanged blenny, which I'll never get to replace because I've never seen one since.
I know.
Because he
Cool
jumped.
too.
But that's okay. That happens. And it was kind of funny that, I finally got it. And every fish that's gone in since has gone through QT. And everyone's like, oh, what do I treat it with? What do I do? And that's where the forums are kind of like, oh, hit him with the copper, hit him with this. Well, you can, but you don't have to. Just watch the fish.
Right.
As he gets sick.
Roscoe got me beat. Roscoe's 1978. Okay, back to you, Craig.
Nope, that's okay. It's us old guys, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like for everyone who gets into the hobby, the first thing I say is, as long as you're patient, you'll be okay. If you're not, if you think you got to throw chemicals at it, or you got to dig your hands into the tank every time you turn around, you're gonna, I'll quote South Park: "You're gonna have a bad time."
Mm-hmm. And what do you think of that ruby red Kick X or Kick Ick or whatever it's called?
Oh, Cordon Kick Ick.
Yeah, I heard mixed reviews on that. Some people said
very much so. Yeah, and the
some
thing
people
is,
said it killed their fish. Some people said it worked.
Well, you know what? It comes down to this. What do we know? If you look it up on a scientific basis and just ignore the forums and everything else, trust me, guys, you look it up. It's out there for you to see. Look up what works for killing marine ick, okay? Cryptocaryon. Oh,
right.
Wow. I forgot the last part. Whatever it is.
We know what you mean. Ick.
Yeah, so
the white
look
shit.
that one up. It is the only one that's been studied, and the only thing they say kills it is either formaldehyde or copper.
Right.
That's it. There's nothing else that kills this thing when it's in its, I think, trophic stage.
And both of these will kill your coral. So.
And it will all kill sensile invertebrates, right? And it'll kill most invertebrates. Anything with a backbone is actually pretty much without a backbone, sorry, is going to die.
Right.
So, when it comes down to it, and Aaron's aquarium, somebody mentioned him, and I like him and all, but he was sitting there talking about doing ick in the reef tank, and I'm saying, you can't. It doesn't work.
You know what? You know what's important, and I got to say this on every stream, and every person who comes on every stream, you need to add, in my opinion, after everything you say.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't say that. That's
people that don't and say this is this way and that's the way it is. I get turned off. I gotta say. Okay, back to you.
Who said that talk? Dave. Hi, Dave. Okay, and I agree, Dave. And you know what? I'll add, in my opinion, the only thing that works is copper.
Right.
Okay. But the thing is that you can look that up. So when it comes to that cordon neck, I'll tell you what does work. I got 2 naked clowns. So unfortunately, I do not have video, guys. I'm going to try and hit the guy's house that I sold that 20-gallon to.
Right.
He still got them. They're doing great. They're asshole. They're buttheads. But they're great little fish. They got velvet. We ordered them, and I got them from that same Garrick Reef Shop guy. And they had he lost 2 Darwins, my buddy, and my 2 had it. And I actually sat there for 3 hours and put them in a foot wash basin that I had bought just for that purpose, and used what's the green stuff? Ikax.
Malachite green.
It's got the malachite green, and it's got formaldehyde in it. Now, mind you,
that stuff stays with you. It gets right in your silicone.
Oh yeah, so don't put it in a tank. I tell everybody, put it in a foot wash basin, right?
Yep.
But it was kind of funny, and I said to these guys, it comes down to the only thing that kills. They had Brooklynella. Sorry,
right.
not
clownfish disease.
They had clownfish disease. Right. And they just started to show it. And I sat there for an hour with a heater and an air stone with these guys on my desk while I, did what I was doing, making sure that they weren't suffering.
Right.
And then put them into their own 5-gallon tank for 2 weeks, and then brought them out, treated them again, and then put them back in the main tank. And because I couldn't find a cycle for Brooklynella other than it was a disease versus a parasite.
Right, right.
So, it shouldn't survive in the tank with nothing to attach to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Other than that, I tell everybody, it's the hardest part of the hobby is that parasites, flukes, any of that stuff. That's going to be the hard part to deal with.
Right.
You guys would love how I caught that. I think I mentioned how I caught that powder brown. And
you CJ'd them.
I just jigged them. Yeah, I just stood there with the net in front of that veggie clip, and I held the net straight up and down. And when he went on it, I just sort of I kind of judged the distance and went 2 inches should be enough that I don't hit him with the net.
Right.
And then brought it down and slammed it against him and the veggie clip, and I got him without hurting him. And I'm like, wow, I'm really getting good at this.
Yeah, you do tend to get good at it.
Because he would not go in that trap. The fox face, by the way, and I wish it had been on video, and I'm going to look to see if I can find it. That piggy, and see how fat my fox face is.
Yeah.
He's right in there digging it up. He says, nope, I want it, right? He's getting bit in the tail, and he actually stayed calm till he got back out.
Right. Right.
No,
yeah, I watched your video, and I thought your fish trap was really cool, and I wanted to comment, but I didn't want to be that guy who, sometimes you want to say something, but you don't want to sound negative or like I'm a know-it-all. And I was thinking about that metal wire around that canister lid was driving me crazy. I wanted to say something like, that shouldn't be in there. That shouldn't be in there. But
yeah,
I'm sure
you know what? It's a one-time use because I figured it this way. It's $3 for me to buy that. And it's actually, you know what? I am so embarrassed because I was laughing today with the wife. I went unemployed on stress leave. I've done tech support for 25 years, and I'm just done hearing people tell me about their computer problems. Yeah. So I
might keep scrapping out. What's going on? No, I'm kidding. Go.
No, I probably helped you with it. You may not like my response. Yeah.
Get rid of the Dell laptop.
Yeah, and I was kind of laughing. Yeah, exactly. That's your first mistake. So it's it was kind of funny that I didn't mean to become. I don't by no means say I'm an expert, but I got really, really good to the point that around my local area, it's I'm the name that comes up, right?
Right. I know what you mean.
It's because I dealt with it the most, right?
Right.
And the guy who bought that powder brown, and it was funny, I was talking to him, and I'm like, who do you have in the tank? I wouldn't even give him the fish till I knew who you have in the tank. And I warned him. I said, I guarantee if you put him direct into the tank, guaranteed you put anybody else in there, he's probably going to kill him.
Yep.
I said, it's that guaranteed. I said, so are you sure you want to buy him? Right? And he's like, no, I do. I know I'm going to see him say, oh, man, my powder brown killed whatever.
Right.
And it's it's one of those things. I literally at this point, guys, don't know how to respond to people sometimes. I'm just like, really? I have many F words here for you in the next 5 minutes. Do you have the time?
Right. Exactly. I know what you mean about the fish too. My LFS had a 8-inch undulated trigger. Beautiful fish.
Ugh.
Wow. $15.
That's a biggie. Yeah.
It said highly aggressive. $15. You can't return him to the store. So before you buy him, make sure you're going to give him his own biotype and let him know that everything else in the tank he will eat.
You want to talk about a fish that is what I would call pure evil. It is an undulated trigger, and I've never even seen one 8 inches long. I had one once that was maybe 5, and that thing was a terror that was at an unbelievable level, but it was afraid of people. The second a person walks in, and I've seen this when I worked in local fish stores, they are terrified of people, but the second you walk away, they will beat the living crap out of everything in your tank.
Yep. I was so tempted because he was $15 and he was beautiful. I was like, yeah, but I've always gotten suckered into this one fish pet tank, and I just don't like it anymore.
I would rather buy a queen trigger that's going to get like this than an undulated trigger.
Right. Undulated trigger is Jaws.
On triggers, check that out. That's how funny that we got on that. There was a clown trigger at fish store down in Halifax, and we're talking that's a 24, almost a 2-foot fish when he's full grown.
Yeah, they're beautiful though. And
he was only the size of a toonie, so I guess for you it'd be like a silver dollar.
Right.
And I'm looking at him, and he's $25. What? And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, no, don't. You can't. You only got a 120-gallon tank, and every invertebrate, everything in that tank is going to be subject to this pit bull.
He's got teeth.
And the guy working there, and he looks at me and goes, oh, great fish, though. I said, yeah, you realize they're capable of biting glass, right? And he kind of
question for Dave.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
What's up?
Dave, Dennis Bliss. Dave, I wanted to get a clam. Where do you suggest I go?
Oh, I don't know. I am new to clams. I bought a very tiny one. Everybody says the tiny ones always die. He didn't die. The only thing when you're looking at a clam at an LFS, you got to put your hand over it, block the light, and make sure it responds. The smaller clams need to be fed more so than the light, and as they get larger, they can depend more on light and filter feeding. That's all Dave knows about clams.
Yeah. Alex is pretty correct there too. If you want one that's going to survive and a little hardier, a Durasa is going to do a little better.
You know, and I'll kind of add on to Dave's because I used to keep a lot of tridactyl clams, and one of the things with them is that Dave has a good point. Make sure they respond to light. There have been some articles and studies done as to whether or not they need to be fed more as a clam that's under 4 inches, whether or not they rely on light or feeding more. And a lot of it says that's been kind of debunked and they could rely on light just as much.
Yep.
But the other thing you want to look at with a clam, if you're going to spend some serious money on it, is the store you're getting it from should not have a problem with allowing you to pick that clam up. If it's attached to a piece of substrate, they should give you that piece of substrate with it and not try to separate.
Yep.
Yeah, don't touch the bissel foot.
Yeah, and if you do pick the clam up, you should rotate it on its backside, and you should look at the foot of the clam and make sure the foot is actually there, because sometimes they can disconnect their foot and drop it, And a lot of times that is a really bad sign, and most clams die if they lose their foot.
Right, or it could have been collected wrong and yanked off a rock.
Most clams now are all mariculture because they're a very large food item for most of the island nations that grow them. And there's only a small percentage of them that are actually colorful and make it to the aquarium hobby.
Right. So remind me again which one I have. He's blue and his shell is very fluted. He's very cool looking.
Maxima.
That sounds like a Maxima clam.
That would be a Maxima? Okay.
I would agree with that. It sounds like a Maxima. Squamosas are fluted as well, but they tend to have more, if they are blue in color, they tend to have more of a black and blue kind of blotchy pattern.
Yeah, he's pretty fluorescent.
I actually have 2 Maxima clams. I got both of them from Petco for $40 a piece, and they're all from ORA.
Nice.
Yeah, and the thing about clams is that, I mean, a lot of people, I think, look at them as being a very delicate creature, and they actually prefer to be in a, they want to have a little bit of nitrates, they want to have phosphates.
Right.
They're one of the few animals out there that could directly absorb phosphate and utilize them.
Yeah, I also don't think they're good for a new tank, and if you're seeing some pineapple sponges in your tank, you're probably ready.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, Dave. You got to have a little bit more of a maturity with your tank. And clams can go through some cycles. You got to watch their mouth and how big they're opening. They like a ton of light.
Yeah.
But once they get going, I mean,
when they're opened, if it's not covering the edges of the shell, it's probably not healthy.
And that can go a couple ways in my experience. It could be something irritated them.
Right.
Which if it's temporary, it's not a problem. But if it is pinched in for a prolonged period of time, or if you saw one in a store that way, I'd be nervous about it. Right. The other thing is the pyramid snails.
Yeah, I heard about them.
They're something that I've had them when I kept my big clam tank. I had them. The one thing to remember with clams, though, is that if you allow them to close properly, you could pull them out of the water and scrub them off with a toothbrush, inspect them. As long as you're not overheating them or anything, they could survive out of the water for a significant period of time because they just seal themselves up.
Than has a funny story about that. When he was on vacation, he was trying to save them all because the tide went out. And he was like, wait a minute, what about the other 364 days when I'm not here?
Not there, exactly. You gotta love Than for that, right?
He tried to save the clam.
Sounds like a great YouTube video right there, is to have somebody kind of watching in the background going, this guy's trying to save all this stuff that lives here.
He was, I think that was when he went to Okinawa, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I love that.
His thing, and if you guys watch the videos that I have, and there's going to be one coming up. So the little 20, I'm going through a little diatom brown hair algae thing, and I'm starting my dosing and everything and getting it back into shape here because it's new, and a little lawnmower blending can only do so much that I added. So it was funny that somebody's like, oh my God, you keep your corals out of your tank for how long? And I'm like, oh, I've had them out for 20 minutes.
Yep.
And somebody's like, well, didn't I kill them? And I went, depends on the coral, and it depends on how you treat it while it's out of there. So
yeah, I wouldn't pull a deep water acro out for 20 minutes, but as zoanthids go on low tide, sometimes they're out of the water for hours.
In the sun.
Yeah, they can seal up.
Yep, and it's, and the other's the palitoxin thing, and, somebody was talking about boiling rocks there on one of the live streams, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
That's not what they mean by cooking rocks.
No, they do not, by the way. All right. Actually, Malev's Reef, I'll give him that benefit. He was talking about doing cooking, and he's like, not this.
Yeah.
This. It's like, guys.
Reef Girl got really sick cooking rocks.
Who's the one who does the video stream? Because I can't clue into the name.
Oh, I'm Dave's Reefing Addiction.
Yeah, Dave, but who's the one showing a video stream of himself?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
Might be Alex T.
Yeah,
I actually did have a video that I did on curing Kukani rock and acid. And I did have somebody comment to say, hey, I want to boil a bunch of my Pukani and boil it in water. And I actually told him, I was like, that's I wouldn't recommend it because you don't know what was living on it. And that there was some kind of pallies. I don't know
Even
how
if they're
well that
dried
stuff
out,
dries up and preserves.
Yep.
So I'm diabetic.
Poison
I'll
ivy.
tell you guys. Here's the thing that, and I'll just mention this: if anybody else here is diabetic, if you get sick, you have to actually go and tell them when you're at the hospital, I have a reef tank, because they will start looking for things like that may have gotten to you because of your suppressed immune system.
Oh, right. I should get a Palithoa detailed tattoo or something.
I'll tell you, I got a little palitoxin. Anybody else ever been nailed with that yet?
No, I haven't. No, I got hit by a lionfish. That's my worst
that
horror.
was fun, I bet. Yeah.
It was like somebody drove a nail through me, and then I was crying almost, and I started throwing up. Yeah, it worried me a little bit.
I've been stuck by a rabbit fish, and slamming my hand into a long spine sea urchin at full speed while cleaning glass was unpleasant.
Yeah,
I bet you.
I have a someone I used to work with in a local fish store. If you're unpacking sea anemones and putting them into tanks, don't rub your eyes. Bad idea.
Oh, ow, that would suck.
I didn't see him for that day, but I was told that he looked like some kind of alien creature because his eyes swelled up so big.
Oh, wow.
I bet you I would have. I got stung by a euphilia, of all things. It was a hammer coral. Yeah.
Hey, it's just a bubble tip. I see you.
Yeah.
Yay, he's not banned.
And it's not Rob Soul.
But no, I guess the big one for me was always just the foolish things that you'll read, and you see people saying the cooking of rock, where they take that literally, or
right.
What was the other one that got to me? Testing. I just did all my testing.
All of it? You have an ICP test? You have an ICP at your house?
I'll tell you just about, eh? Last time I added up what it cost for all my test kits, I started to cry. So it's like, okay, that's not cheap. So I was looking for my pH kit. Yeah, I was looking for my pH kit and I couldn't find that. And I'm like, I bet you I lent that to somebody. But I run and, coming back to the testing thing, and somebody's like, well, what's important about that? And that's why I get annoyed with the forums. What's your parameters? Well, I get it. And I actually had my LFS guy that I go to and promote, kind of rad on me about, being against forums. And I'm like, you're only against that, or, sorry, how to word that. You're arguing with me about that because he has his own forum.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And I said, don't get me wrong, Norm, you're a great guy and I love you to death, but I have to disagree that 90% of the time you say that's helpful. I said, okay, so I have this going on in my tank. Here's my parameters. Can you tell me what's wrong? And he just kind of looked at me. And it's like, look, I'm not saying that it's not important. It absolutely is. If you're running 100 ppm for your nitrates, you got a problem. You need to take care of it. You're overfeeding or something.
Right.
But it's the people chasing numbers, and it's like, look, I have 7.5-ish DKH for my alkalinity in all my tanks. I have my main tank right now is at 40 parts per million for my nitrates. Don't know, and I know why, because I stopped dosing Nopox and all that stuff that was going on. That's going to come back again. I'll get it down again. What was the other one? Oh, no phosphates in my tank. None. Right? And everyone's like, okay, so how are you getting rid of that? And it's like, I use those little Chinese pumps, and they got a filter, little block filter, I got in tank filter. That's it.
Right. Like
and what I do, I put a sponge on the top, but below that is a bag of GFO, right? So that it's kind of like a little GFO reactor in my sump without having a reactor.
Mm-hmm.
And it works great. And I try and tell, and then a guy goes on, oh, those Chinese pumps, you're polluting your tank with metals. Well, I have a cure for that too there, buddy. And he's like, what's that? And I said, do you buy Cooper's Orb? Go ahead. Nope, I don't want to cut. I don't want to keep talking all the time. So
That's all right. I see a question in the chat. Dennis keeps asking me questions, and I'm just peeking over real quick. And he says, if I have sponges growing in my tank, does that mean that my tank is mature? If you bought the sponges, no. But if they just kind of showed up and they're in places like your sump and things like that, the little white pineapple ones, yes, that's a good sign of maturity.
absolutely is. Yep.
If you go out and buy a sponge and it stays alive in your tank, that's good, but it doesn't mean it's mature.
I would, and a description, somebody had asked about those pineapples, and I said little white things. They look like little white snot balls.
Yep. And they're perfect.
And they're great. Yeah, you absolutely want them.
The sponges are all, they're a relation to the nutrient load that's available for food. I think it's a very good sign. Can you say a tank's mature based off of that? That's a really broad question because that's
what is mature, right?
To answer what is mature.
Well, you're past that new tank thing. Is my point.
Right. You got enough nutrients to feed them.
Not be an issue. Maybe is the way to say it. My tank matured at around, I'd have to say, a year.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now I kept moving the same stuff from tank to tank, so it was probably the stuff was a year old. The tank was not.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the tank, what you're doing, how you're doing it. It varies so much. I'll go back to the clam discussion for a minute.
Sure.
If anybody wants to see, well, I should say, one, if you have an opportunity to go, I'd take it because they don't allow many people there. But there's a place called Kingman Reef. It's a United States territory, and I've seen video footage of divers over there for tridactic clams, and it's probably one of the most impressive / untouched reefs in the world out in the middle of the Pacific.
Huh.
So if you want to see some cool tridactic clam footage or just cool pictures of tridactic clams in the wild, look up Kingman Reef.
Is that in the Pacific or the Atlantic?
He said Pacific.
Pacific.
Yeah,
I liked St. Croix. When I went to St. Croix, they have a place called Buck Island, and John F. Kennedy made it a national park. It's the only reef that's a national park, and there are plaques under the water saying, this is a fan coral, blah, 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 and you can snorkel through it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I got to really go through some of my snorkeling videos and touch them up. They're all older, but just to put them out there on YouTube because I got some cool footage of some stuff.
Yep. You ever see a cuttlefish up close? I think they're pretty cool from what I've seen in video, the cuttlefish.
Oh, I'd love to see one of those. I've never seen one in the wild before.
Yeah, that's an amazing looking creature. Changes colors and.
Did I tell you about my wife's friend that was on vacation in Florida? She found a little octopus on the beach and she was playing with it, and the little bastard bit her.
There's some really cool stuff. Like, my wife thinks I'm crazy. Like, I go out snorkeling and I'm like, well, I'm going to go look for all that stuff that people are probably afraid of.
Yeah.
Because it sounds cool to me.
I saw a lady.
I gotta admit, I've probably done some really dumb things snorkeling where I've been out way too far by myself.
Yeah.
Snorkeling in Newfoundland?
There was a woman on the beach who had all these little bottles with the corks, and they all had a little leather strap through them so she could wear them as a necklace. And I said, what are you going to do with that? She goes, look out there. I'm going to go to where the water's more green. I'm going to get a sample of that. I'm going to go to where it's more blue. I was like, okay. Just seeing what's under it, you know.
I got an opportunity to go to Maui a few years ago, and I went out to a beach, and it was kind of funny because I told my wife I got my snorkeling gear on. I was like, I'm going to go out for a few minutes, check it out.
Bye, Tiger Shark.
If it looks good, I'm going to come back and get you so we can go out together. And 3 hours later, and me about 300 to 500 yards off the beach, I kind of looked up and went, she looks really angry with her arm waves in the air waving at me. But it's funny somebody said tiger shark, because like a year or two after we were there actually was a tiger shark attack in that area.
I have, it's Reefer. It's me that said that. I have galleophobia. I have an irrational fear of sharks. So going in the water isn't going to happen.
Okay.
But
the same woman that was snorkeling, some kids started to throw chicken nuggets in her direction in the water. And she almost ran out on top of the water like Jesus Christ.
I betcha. If you've ever seen that meme of the dog that's on top of the water and it says a fish effing touch me, that's me. That's totally me. And friends laugh at me, and I literally, I'm not kidding, guys. When you say irrational, I have to look in a pool first. I got to look.
And you're a hobbyist. That's great.
Yeah, and my arm goes in the tank, and I swear I hear dun dun. Right, so you know,
I've only had 2 times snorkeling where I got just scared to death, and one time was out at that beach where I was at, and I was swimming between. There was separators between the reef where there were these big, like 50-yard stretches of just sand and open bottom that was like 10 to 15 feet deep with some little island rocks. And I got about halfway between one, and I remember I turned around and just started looking around because you only see about 100 feet maybe at most. And I was like, something just don't feel right. But there was nothing there. But the other one that just, I lost it. I was out in Florida in water that you could only see about 10 to 15 feet max. And I was snorkeling on a beach. There was no reef. I was just looking for critters. And I ran headfirst into a clump of seaweed that was about this big. And I thought it was a freaking shark or something.
Yeah, that's it. Game over. Panic stations. Yeah.
I jumped a couple feet back, and then I saw what it was. I'm like, oh, okay. Still, though, I mean, you're out in the ocean. You're not the top of the food chain when you go out there. So.
No, you are not. No, but you know what's funny? You're talking about food chain. There's a guy here in Fredericton. He's a marine biologist. He's growing pods. If you look him up on Facebook, Strange Reef is what he's called. The guy's brilliant. Jack William, nice guy. And he literally said to me, nobody had ever gotten his pods moving in his bottles before on film. And I'm thinking, I literally just use a Galaxy S7 Edge for most of my filming right now.
Right.
I got it, no problem. And everyone said, well, why do you dose them? And I said, well, I have a Mandarin and a scooter. I said, they got to eat.
Right.
And, you know, now I have seen the scooter eat a little bit of mysis, and we're pretty sure that the Mandarin's starting to eat pellets that hit the bottom. But I'll tell you, my tank's a hungry tank. Those don't stick around too long. So, you know, I had one, and big male. I wish I still had him. Sold him to a fella, and he told me how he had pods. And I said, you're sure? I said, yeah, okay. And like I said, I went through that strange point I was going to get out. And he killed that fish in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So,
you know, and I'm like, go ahead, Alex.
Hold on.
What's his name
showing
on Facebook, and what kind of pots is he growing?
He's growing Tibbs, and he does one called Mandarin Mix.
Okay.
And he's doing, so he does Tibbs, Tiger Pods, or Tigger, sorry.
I just wondered if he had anything that would be considered a marine ostracod.
I bet you he does. If you'd have to ask him direct. I really don't get that far into it.
What? You said he's a biologist?
I think he's a marine biologist. He went to the University of New Brunswick to do it, I think. Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm looking at Clem's tank here for just a minute. What's that big tang you got going back and forth in there?
That's the exact same thing I wanted to know.
Yeah, that's an Achilles tank. What's up, guys?
Oh, yeah, that's a big Achilles. There's a big guy. That's a great looking tank. You got some beautiful scullies and stuff on the bottom.
That's a beautiful tank, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. Yeah,
Bare
bare
bottom.
bottom. First time going bare bottom on this tank. So.
Well, you got a lot of pretty stuff on the bottom. Who needs sand?
Yeah, right. It runs real clean, I tell you. Like
It
I
looks
have to
great.
struggle to keep.
That Achilles tang is absolutely gorgeous.
Is that a deep dimension 300?
It's a 225 actually, only 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. So.
Okay. Oh, it's a beautiful tank though.
Who's this? Clemento?
Yeah, I shortened it to Clem Reefing because nobody can pronounce it anyways. So.
Yeah. You bought that big colony you had on the right side. I've seen your video quite a while back, and
Yeah, that was that tank crashed like a year and a half ago. I lost that whole tank, and that was in the 150 that I had. That was a beautiful tank.
Mm-hmm.
I still regret.
You know what's funny is, and not to cut you off, I was just looking. 2 hours this has been streaming, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know, poor Steve. He's like, I want to cut it off at 45 minutes, but it just shows you how much people want to talk about reefing,
right?
Right? Like how much we're just into it. Like people think we're nuts, right?
I know. I called Steve up on the phone, and I figured he had the 5-minute rule, and I was like, all right, that's been 10 minutes. We're still going.
Yeah.
and we all just really don't like our wives and girlfriends.
I've got nobody else to talk to about.
Yeah, that's Michael Aaron said it best. Ooh, there's other people that like what I like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know,
Dave, I just found you, man. I just am a new subscriber to your channel, so I figured I'd pop on here tonight and say hi.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'll make sure I got you back.
I try to hit everybody back too, and like I said, I just make the videos because I like making them, and I got that brand new tank, so I thought there's a good idea. I'll show everybody this is what I did.
Right.
You know, you can do what you do and base it off of what I'm doing if you want. You know, starting a new tank. There you go. I have a forum to spout off about starting a new tank, and people are like, you got to wait for it to cycle. I'm like, no, you don't. Right? But there are rules that you should follow. Right? So.
There's 10 ways to do everything, but there's also 20 wrong ways. So.
You know, and it's exactly right. It's like if you're going to do it and you tiptoe your way nice and easy into it, you can do it this way. Mm-hmm. If you think you're going to go and have that's Clem's tank we're looking at there, that wonderful spring, right? Yeah. So you think you're going to have that
in a month.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This hobby is not like, say your neighbor gets into RC cars. You can go get an RC car tomorrow and be into RC cars.
Yeah.
But you can't do this right away. You can't go buy this.
You know, my 120 is now a year old. Now, and I know what happened to my tank. I used the rock from my previous tank, and I kept the sand alive too, and that's where I goofed. And everyone's like, what do you mean? I said, that's why my nutrient level just poof right through the roof.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But I didn't use all the gnast snails and all the stuff, you know, I did. And, it was just, I know better now. Somebody's like, well, what do? I said, keep the rock. Ditch the sand, put fresh sand in. I said, just don't, right? You know, it's just too hard. Dig through the sand, find the snails, and throw them in the new sand. You know, don't do that. Don't make the mistake I made, right?
You're uncovering such a long time of detritus buildup and stuff and gases and things that just weren't in the water column.
You got it. Yep. And so, you know, when I put it together, it worked, but it took me I probably set myself back from maturing that tank properly a good 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just coming around now. And you try and tell people, like, I've helped probably about 4 or 5 people personally, have gone out, helped them out. And they're like, oh, well, there was a woman on my group, and she asked me about, well, I paid this marine, and she's over in Britain, so I'm not sure if Cabinet Solutions guy is here, but it was kind of funny. She paid this marine biologist, and I use air quotes here, to come and set up her tank.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And she's like, and everything that goes in this is dying. And I'm like, well, okay, I hate to ask this because I'm, but what are your parameters? What are those?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. Okay. Go buy your
tank.
Did this guy know anything about the nitrogen cycle? Because that's probably
got
just
it.
something that exists in the
Right.
ocean. You know, they don't have to make that work.
You got it. So she come on probably about 3 days later. She had bought an API test kit. Okay, fine. What is the reading? And she goes, well, it's really dark green. And I'm like, really dark? And she's like, yes, really dark. And I said, you have a humongous ammonia spike in your tank. I said, so don't put anything living in there right now. I said, because what you need to do, I said, go to the store, see if they have, Birospira, Dr. Tim's one. I said, go buy a cultured bacteria, dump it in the tank, and then let the tank go and keep testing your ammonia every other day. And when you see it go down to 0, then test for nitrates. I said, when you see nitrates, you're kind of in the good zone where you can add a fish or two, because your biological filter right now is totally FUBAR.
Right.
Right. And she's like, I don't understand. And I went, okay, go find someone who's willing to service tanks to look after your tank.
That's what you need.
If you hire somebody,
Because if you don't want to learn, you need to pay somebody.
You got to pay someone, right? I said, the trick here is anything you put in there right now, you're going to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went, oh my geez, I had to step back. I actually got upset because she just wasn't listening. It was just, well, I want to go get this fish. You can't go get a fish, right? Like I said,
everybody wants to bring Dory home with the 10-gallon bowl.
What was it? Steve was talking about that Taylor one. She did the video about Dory. And I bet you, and as a community, everybody who's been in this long enough, when Finding Dory was coming out, how many people saw they go in the ocean and they take so many clownfish? Out of 80% of all clownfish are and all these numbers about taking it from the ocean. I'm like, clownfish? Most of them are captive raised. What are you talking about?
Right. Nobody buys a regular clownfish anymore.
Right.
The only thing I'll tell you, Craig, is that I was working at a local fish store when that movie came out.
Yep.
And let me tell you the nightmare of dealing with parents coming in and going, why can't I just get a bowl for $10 and put them in that?
No, I agree with you, Alex. No, that's what I'm saying. I got hit with it too, and I'm like, well, a saltwater fish tank is not a freshwater, and people mess up freshwater fish tanks.
Right.
It's like you can't keep a tetra alive, but you want to start a saltwater tank.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, I'm not going to be that LFS guy that goes, oh, you need to spend $5,000, and no, you don't. But there are rules to the game here. This is not, bring home Dory and throw her in a 10-gallon tank and think that's all going to work out for you.
No.
Right?
Go ahead, Alex.
I always found the best question that I asked when I worked in stores was, what do you want to do? You want this aquarium, why? What do you want to keep? What's your end game to it? Right. And then after they tell me what they'd want to do, then we get into talking about, well, if you want to do that, then you're going to have to do this, this, and this, and it's going to cost, this, this, and this potentially, depending on how you do it.
Yep.
Don't plan on having a fish for 1 to 8 weeks.
Well,
people. Go ahead, Alex.
They want instant gratification in some cases, and I think the most difficult thing about this hobby, and not just saltwater, but just aquariums in general, is that you have to have patience, give things time. You need to take your time, and that was probably the most difficult people to deal with as customers were the ones that were like, why can't I just buy it today? I want it today, and be like, well, no, you need to set it up first, give it a little time, and then we'll start slowly.
Yeah.
And
there's a store here, and they sell saltwater fish. And the guy, he's a member of my group, and he's a good fella. I love him to death. He's 7'4", young fella. Just walk in.
Hold on 1 second, Clem. What did you just put in there? What are these fish going crazy over, fighting over one piece?
Oh, I put a sheet of nori in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they take it right out of my hand, and I don't have to put it on a clip or anything.
It's amazing watching. Okay, didn't mean to break you guys up. I just had to know what that was.
Not at all.
I thought they were taking out a tank mate.
That's the thing, and to kind of go with what Alex was saying with the fish store thing. So I'm at the fish store, and this lady's harassing this poor fella about starting a saltwater tank, and how come I can't today? And I said, well, here's the thing. I said, why don't we do it from this point of view? I said, those two clowns and a 20-gallon tank with enough equipment to run that tank, and a bottle of this, and they've started bringing in ATM Colony because on my recommendation, it's the easiest way to make sure these people don't come back with their dead fish.
Right.
And I said, and you have to be ready to make salt water this week, I said, and change out about 20 to 30% of that water weekly for the next 3 weeks. I said, while you're watching what's going on, testing. And she's like, we're going around, and by the time we finished adding it up, for just that startup, it was about $400.
Yep.
Right, Canadian, right? It was a lot of money to just drop right now to take those two fish that were $100 for that pair, by the way.
Go buy a dog.
Exactly. And she's like, oh, well, can I get a blue tang, a dory? She says, dory. And I went, no, not unless you want to kill it. Right. I said, no, 20-gallon tank's not big enough. I said, you need at least, I said, minimum. I said, and it's all rough numbers here, but I said about 120 gallons minimum for that kind of tank.
Right.
Right.
I think that kind of tank should be in a 6-foot tank. That's just what's in my head.
And that's a general rule. But I said to somebody, and maybe you can agree, and I'm okay with quibbling about it. 2 feet to a tank is almost nothing.
Yeah. Right.
They're there before they look over there, and they're there. These are streamlined fish that swim miles and miles and miles a day. You can't just put it in a box and expect it to turn around and go back and forth.
You got it.
Was that in just a pet store, or was that in like a
it's
shop?
a pet store here, and I'm in St. John, New Brunswick, guys. I am probably in the most remote place reefing that you can be in.
Where is that?
If you look on a map, I am right next to Maine.
Oh, okay. You're right above there.
Right up in the corner.
Is on the other side of Canada.
BC?
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say that always worked well with new perspective hobbyists in saltwater or just aquariums in general, especially when they would get into I don't see why I can't just take it home today, is to come up with real world analogies that involve people.
Yep.
Right.
And putting people are saying, how would you fare if you went into this type of situation? And they go, well, not very well. And then you go, well, that's what the fish would go through.
Yeah.
Imagine
try to run a closet and somebody bringing you 3 meals a day, but you can't leave the closet, even to go to the bathroom. And when you go to the bathroom, it stays in the closet with you. Would you like?
Yeah. I mean,
how would you feel exactly?
The classic. There were 2 classics I used to get. One is people would come to me, fresh with salt, and go, well, I got algae problems. And I go, okay, well, I'd ask about water quality and things like that, and sometimes they wouldn't know. And a question that commonly came up was, well, how long do you leave your lights on for? And some people go, well, you just never shut them off. You just leave them on all the time. And I would go, okay, so imagine being in a room with the lights that never shut off, and you can't close your eyes. They're open all the time. You'd go crazy in a minute. Yep. And they'd usually go, yeah, you're right. That probably is a problem. And I go, yeah, it is. Or
Roscoe, there's a question there. And I think it's
let me take a minute and address the chat.
Don't say that.
Let me address the chat one more time. I'm having a problem with my computer, and I can't get over there, but these guys will come over there and take a look. So you can address your questions to anybody, and there's a lot of good people in the chat with you that can help you, too.
So, Roscoe, if you're asking about water, if I can, hopefully that comes up on a fairly decent run here. I was a little surprised to find out that Rotter wasn't running DI. Not that much so. I have pretty water here. The algae outbreak tells me a lot. But it kind of comes down to a 4-stage is the minimum for free chlorine. If you watch BRS, those guys do a pretty good job about the water. And I do agree with the hobby being mostly about water care versus the fish. The fish will look after themselves if you take care of the water for them. Mm-hmm. But it kind of comes down to a 4-stage doesn't cost all that much. Really, I mean, God, there's a company here in Canada called AquaSafe. Yeah, you can't see what's in the tubes, but you know what? If you're changing it out on a regular basis, it doesn't cost that much, and it cleans your water. I go through maybe a DI every 6 months full. My RO membrane probably needs changing here. It's been almost 2 years, but I only get, and you guys
What's
will
your
love
TDS?
this.
What's your TDS
You ready?
going in?
My incoming TDS is 27.
That's good.
Right, but I have a ton of dirt in the water.
Oh, okay.
So I have to have 2 sediment filters on the front.
Gotcha.
Right, so I only have 1 carbon, 1 RO, and then 1 DI, but 2 sediment on the front. And that's what I tell people. It's like, can you imagine my horror when somebody says, "Oh, I use tap water"?
Right.
And I'm like, well, I can tell you all the problems you're having. I said, without you even telling me. Yeah, only 27, Bubba. Not bad, eh? So
that's pretty good. Yeah, I've heard of people who have like 200.
Ask
TDS.
Bubba what his is. Bubba's in Arizona. Ask Bubba what his TDS is.
I'm scared to know. Out in the desert. Yeah.
On a well, maybe.
I'm going to take a guess. It's 400 or 500, I think.
I betcha. Arsenic and lead in the water?
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah.
So I live in Chicagoland. I'm not on Chicago City water. I have a water softener, but bypassing that, my TDS is 286 out of the tap.
Oh, wow. Oof.
That's pretty high.
That's high. Yeah.
I went to 288. Sorry.
Okay.
So what do you get your water down to? Is it you get all the way down to 0 or?
So this has been something that I've been really contesting myself. Is I get with just 1 DI cartridge and a 4-stage unit, technically, I get my TDS down to 1 to 2. I just switched up to more of a silicate cartridge. But I gotta say, looking at the videos like BRS has done, I've been pretty tempted to go to like a 3 or 4-stage DI to see if I can't knock it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say sediment, 2 carbon, and probably 2 DI. You'd probably be talking a 7-stage.
Yeah, I run a 6-stage, so yeah.
I'm on the other end of
Al
the
was
spectrum.
asking, guys, besides algae, what other problems come from not running that or running tap water? One is chlorine. Okay, so you can dechlorinate, great. But the thing is the metals. So you don't know if there's copper, iron.
TDS doesn't tell you what's in the TDS. It just tells you there's something there.
Yeah.
So you don't know what it's made up of, and that's a biggie.
A really big one. And it's mostly copper because especially if you want to keep a reef tank, copper is well, it's a killer. We use it to kill ick. That's simple.
Kills invertebrates. We just said that.
Kills invertebrates, right? So
that's what we're trying to grow.
Titanium, believe it or not, is an issue.
And if you have copper pipes in your house, then there you go.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be copper in some way, shape, or form, right? So I live in an old city. I live in the oldest incorporated city in Canada. It's 236 years old.
Okay. So you got lead?
There is lead. I am not kidding, guys. They have found wood pipes in the south end of my city. Wood.
Yeah, so you get phosphates coming right in.
Oh, it's insane, right? So what is it for? If you clean your water, if it's super pristine, what the trick to it is, and it's like we were just saying, if you look after the water, the rest of it will look after itself, right? You will spend less time chasing the numbers you're looking for than you will if you don't, because there will be so many other issues that you're having in the tank if you don't have clean water.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too, Craig, just, looking at my 480 gallon tank has had a big algae bloom that's been kind of going on, and it's leveled off and it's gone down, but it's been sticking around long enough to where I'm starting to question, do I need to do more to my water before it goes into the tank? Because even at 2 TDS, like you were saying, I haven't done ICP, so I don't know what's in that 2 TDS. I would guess from putting the silicate cartridge in there that it's probably silicates, which is something that feeds it.
It's funny you said that. I was going to say, I bet you it's silicates.
Grow some sponges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I come out of the tap at about 68 TDS, and I just use an RO buddy with no DI, and I get down to 2. And that's what I'm doing for now. And I know those 2, I don't know what's in it. Also, I have chloramine. So I also, when I'm done, I pour Fritz Complete in there. Even though I just made RO water, I poured a Fritz Complete in to bind the chloramine.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm
Smart.
lucky. I only have 3 chlorine, so I only need 1 carbon, 1 DI.
Right. You can, in the old days, you could just bubble that out too. If you just 24 hours with bubbles, and that was gone.
Yep.
Not with the chloramine.
No, chloramines are nasty, nasty. I mean, they're great for us as human beings because we can process it out. I imagine it's doing something to our liver, but
yeah,
you know, it's one of those things.
But we all drink anyway, so that's what I'm gonna blame the liver problem on.
Here I am smoking a cigarette. I'm worried about what I'm drinking. So
yep.
Dave,
We take
how did
better.
you figure that out that you had chloramines?
I
Did you call the water company?
It was.
Do you know
on Google? It was on Google, Clifton, New Jersey.
Yep.
All right, we had an update
How
in the
long
chat.
were your RO membranes lasting, Dave? Because I know I thought that RO membranes themselves were pretty damaged if they come in contact with chloramines.
I don't know, and I haven't changed it yet. And the whole thing's only $50. Amazon, get it tomorrow. So I think at the point where I think I'm going to change it, I'm just going to get another one. And they do sell one with a DI kit, and I think that's $79. Get it tomorrow. So
there you go.
His video said CJ just released a video that said he killed his acros.
Oh no way!
Everybody run over there. Everybody run over there. That's what he wants.
Well, I would, but I don't want to say anything.
I'm hanging out over here.
How did you kill macros?
He got like 20 of them or something like that.
Yeah, didn't he just get them from Than?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was just out there with Rico and.
You know, it comes
all
down
those
to
guys.
this. Your success or failure doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing, because sometimes it just happens. But you know, it's one of those things I try to tell people that if you're really, really looking after what you're doing, you're never going to have that serious a problem.
It's a hard learning curve getting into SPS, man, and it's expensive because
I'm done with SPS. I'm done. I have killed more SPS than I've kept alive.
I got a total of like 5-6 SPS in my tank. Until my algae issues get under control and I get a calcium reactor, I'm probably not going to add many more.
I have too many in my
I'm
100
an
gallons.
LPS softy guy myself.
And you know what? Softies are a great thing. I tell everybody when they're getting in, here's the problem, and you'll agree with this, Alex. Some SPS border on being invasive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you
Which
get a
ones?
clean velvet
Those are the
towel.
ones I need to grow, man.
Yeah. You know, it's
Stylos.
Yeah, Stylos, yeah.
The colony will do a polyp bailout, and then it'll be everywhere in your tank.
Yep. Exactly, right? Like, you know, you try and explain to people about coral. Coral's a whole different animal, folks. Literally.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a fish.
warfare.
A fish is clean water. Fish will live through anything. You know, as long as your heat doesn't spike, you're kind of okay, right? You know, or if everything. Somebody was talking about the what do you call it? The solar generator for their tank. And I'm like,
here, quiet.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, was it CJ?
He's in now.
There he is.
CJ.
He's always
What's up, bud?
All right, CJ, what happened? We haven't watched the video yet.
You gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it.
You got to. I want my commercial money.
We have to watch the clickbait.
Yeah.
You gotta watch everything for the full story. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, I watched you go get pizza in your pajamas last night. I gotta watch that now.
We're still gonna watch it, CJ.
So, without watching it, how many acros survived?
He's not going to tell you.
What?
Why would he tell you? He just made a video.
He's got some that survived.
At
Come
the
on.
minimum, hey Alex. At the minimum, I lost an entire frag pack at the minimum.
See, that's still bad. Is that Murph?
I've been there.
Yep.
Hell, I lost that whole tank. That 150. I lost the whole thing.
Well, CJ, if it makes you feel any better, within the span of 6 months, I lost 84 heads of euphilia. So.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. But I'm gonna tell you a
Brown
secret.
jelly?
I'm
Was it brown
gonna
jelly?
tell you.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on,
Craig,
CJ.
go ahead and finish it.
Oh no, I was just asking if the euphilias went out due to brown jelly.
Well, you know what? I think it was. I really couldn't say for sure when it happened to me, but what it was, I was getting ready to move the tanks. And when I lifted them up, every head bailed out. So they weren't dead, but whatever was going on in my water, which I think was a nitrate issue.
Was that the same thing with the sand?
And I think it was the sand.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was, I had a high nitrate level and there was a spike and all those heads didn't like where they were. So they started to bail. And when I took these out of the tank, I just ended up with this mass of euphilias, floating around my tank. And, at $35 a head, it's about $3,000 worth of euphilias I lost within the span of like 6 months.
That's Canadian money, though.
Yeah, Canadian. It was pennies, guys. It was pennies.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's Canadian.
That's very.
But it was really, it was one of those things, and that's not counting on the corals I've lost, of course. But to lose, I lost one acro in the last couple of months to that purple coralline that's freaking out my tank. So I recovered the other one. You can see the video, and there's going to be updates coming on that. So yeah, I feel for you. I love acros, love them.
All right. So what do you want to say, CJ? We just kind of walked all over what you came in with.
Oh no, you fine, man. I mean, I ain't.
No, yeah, I don't want to cut you off. I'd rather hear what happened. To be honest,
I mean, Dave understands the philosophy of not putting a video up until you can see it through to the end.
Yep.
Right.
I learned that lesson.
So at the end of the video, I'll explain how I turned it around. So the losses have stopped. The losses stopped a week ago. But
I got you.
This video just came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So us on the live stream, we got a good grip on it because CJ shares.
Yeah.
Instagram and live streams.
Yeah, exactly. You guys know what's happening, but the title definitely should draw plenty of action. And it's not really a lie. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I did lose some stuff. I'm holding bleached corals during the video, so I can't.
Do you have a Rico face on? You holding the colony up with the Rico face?
Without a smile. Yeah, no smile. I can't wait to see that and meme me. You're gonna meme me on this because I was in front of the tank the entire time. It's the first time I've been in front of the tank in like a year on a video.
Good. You need that FaceTime, CJ.
CJ, I got a unrelated question to the video. I know you use an orange gel filter. Do you use the Aquara clip for your phone?
Yeah, he loves that clip. He got it in his My Aquarium box from Mike Mass.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep. All blues. It works real good with all blues. That's the best way.
I just ordered a cheap one on Amazon. It's like, it's half orange and you can rotate it and tune it in, I think. And I'll let you know when I get it. But it was cheap.
The funny thing is, I put an Amazon link to the aquarium clip that I found on Amazon for that video I made. And within 2 days, people start commenting saying, it's out of stock, CJ. It's out of stock.
Oh, CJ cleaned them out.
I cleaned the whole Amazon store out.
That's all right.
It was like 80 people. It was like 80 people that bought it.
Algae Barn's out of stock on them too. I'm on back order.
Yeah, I went to My Aquarium Box's site to get one, and the night I was doing it, I went on My Store or whatever the link was called, and it was under construction. I was like, damn. Tried to help them out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to see.
Well, don't give up, man.
Whoa, one at a time, guys.
I was just saying, don't give up.
Fuck. Ready on the count of 3.
Yeah. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
What were you going to say, Alex?
Oh, I was going to say I'm tempted to get I see there's some orange filter kits for DSLRs too.
Yep.
But I know you like to use your phone for everything, CJ. So that's why I was curious if that's what you were using.
He even edits on that phone. Come on.
Yep, but man, I just figured out.
I know he does everything for the phone.
Listen, Alex, I just figured out recently that the iPhone has a built-in feature that allows you to screen capture, not snapshot, but literally record your screen.
Yep.
I just discovered that, so I used a ton of that during the making of this video, man. Because I can go through my entire phone, Apex app, everything, and have it record as a real video. So I put a snip of my edited video that I recorded on Instagram, and it really shows you guys how much is in that video when you watch it. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see the exclusive.
It's so much better than videotaping a screen too, because that never comes through right.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So now I can go through and walk through Fusion on my phone, very clear. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
now
great.
I can also go through and remake. I'm gonna remake my entire series on Filming with Your Phone, because now I can go through and literally record myself recording the tank as I'm doing it with the features and everything. So yeah, I'm about to remake that whole series.
Well,
so
that's good.
It's coming, but good stuff, man.
Got to put a little Power Director app in there too. So that's
Power Director.
Everybody likes Power Director.
You can screen capture video.
Yes, and it's already on the phone. It's a feature already on the phone.
Yeah, whatever he's doing on the phone.
Yeah,
whatever he's doing on the phone. Just don't do any passwords.
Right.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Right. Make sure no text message coming up or something, because it captures their entire screen. So you get those eggplant emojis along the top, man. You do somebody eggplant donuts, smiley faces.
What are you using to get the video on off your phone?
Oh, nothing. I use iMovie, man. I upload from.
Yeah.
I do it.
No, he meant the screen capture.
Oh,
it's built into the iPhone.
It's already in there. If you go to settings and you go to settings, control center. Yes, settings, then control center, customize controls. You see the feature right there. It's called screen recording. It's already there. It's just in the section for more controls. It's been there the entire time. I wonder if it's been there for the last generation too, and I never knew it. I'm like so pissed.
I didn't know it until just now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that is a game changer for someone who does not use a computer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
I use my phone.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I use my iPhone to do all my videos too, and iMovie as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a Galaxy S7 Edge and HitFilm Express.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the Android world, that'll probably help people, man, because I don't really know much about the Android editing apps, what ones work best and all that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really come with anything decent, so you got to go out and find something.
Yeah. No, I use my computer to do all my editing. Yeah.
Right. I've got an old Note 4 Samsung. That's all I use.
Sweet.
Yeah. But the cool thing is, man, like if you capture your screen, like you turn your phone in landscape mode, and you can go navigate websites, shop for calls or do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
and
great.
Import that into your video. I mean, it's like there's endless possibilities. Like I'm over here foaming at the.
Stealing clips out of other videos.
Oh yeah, it's easy. That's easy. I actually went and stole a clip from my old videos to put in this video.
Oh, and it's nice. You didn't have to download them and cut them. And
check this out. Check this out. The screen capture also captures sound.
Oh, beautiful. So it's audio and video.
Sound, man.
I might go get an iPhone now.
That'll be good for like before and after videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you guys don't know. I did that one with those little still shots with like 4 months of coral growth. That was a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah,
I believe it. How did you do that? Did you go back and take a screenshot of each one of your old videos or something?
Yeah, I was watching the old videos and screenshot, and of course I never had the same angle, same light, so it was horrifying.
I know what you're saying, man, but yeah.
I'd be nervous editing on a cell phone.
Yeah, big fingers, little screen.
Man, what you nervous about, man?
Note 4 got a stylus. Note 4 got a stylus right holstered right into it.
I'm just so used to using my desktop to edit. It'd be weird to go to using my phone.
Right.
Man,
Well, I got the free Power Director on the desktop, and it's a pretty good app too.
I couldn't imagine doing it on a computer where I'm stuck at a desk editing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I can hit this anywhere. I'm at a stoplight. I can do something. You know.
Yep.
Anyway.
I went your route, Dave. I'm using Power Director.
On the desktop, that's nice because it's got a couple different channels of audio and video. It's almost a mixer.
Yeah.
Oh, features, man.
It's
I need more
got a lot of
features.
nice little features on it.
Yeah, there's some I haven't even unlocked yet. I'm still using the free version.
Does it let you overlay like 3 different videos on top of one video? Can you do 3? Because I can do 2 with iMovie. Can you do 3?
I'm not sure. I haven't scrolled down that far.
Okay. Because if you can do 3 with multiple overlays,
I bought it, so.
Oh, Alex bought it. So how much was it? About?
Well, Cyberlink runs a deal like every day of the week, so I bought Pro Director 16 with Audio Director for like $60.
Oh, that's still not bad if you like it. But the one on the phone is free, and then if you like it, you can cut out the commercials and go to a high definition saving feature for $5, and that's one price, one time. So that's a no brainer.
Yeah,
because the commercials are vicious. Every time you open the thing up, it wants you to watch a 30-second commercial.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
And you click on the wrong thing, you bought something.
Then you got stuck with. You didn't get stuck.
I was using Windows Movie Maker before that, and then it just didn't have enough features, and it's like ancient software, so it's time to upgrade.
Absolutely, Alex. That one you're using works. HipFilm 4 Express. The only problem with that, it's got a steep learning curve. I probably spent 3 weeks just learning how to use it.
Right.
For which one? Power Director?
No, HipFilm 4 Express.
Right. And I got to admit, when I'm talking about I edit videos, I may put a couple of videos together or cut clips out of them. I'm not doing like anything extensive. And then maybe a voiceover and a music track. That's about it.
There you go. Like if you watch, I forget which Red Turf one it is, but you can see like a lightning comes down and sets the coral on fire and all that. Like,
right.
Yeah,
that's
all great. And I just realized like I actually got it streamlined out where I can pump out that, that intro and do all that stuff and make it look that way, that it was easy once I kind of knew how to do it.
Right.
But, there's a learning curve to it. Once you got it, though, it's I can add, I think it's 24 different video tracks. It's a movie maker, right? It's an actual professional movie maker. If you want to pay for the full version, you can do like Iron Man effects with it, all that stuff, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. But it's like, wow, what a curve.
See, but that's a never-ending money pit.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Movie Maker was a pretty simple one that's free. It's out there. It's just old, and then the Power Director is pretty easy.
Thing about the iPhone.
Yeah, just a sec, Alex. CJ, is anybody else having trouble hearing CJ, or is it just me?
CJ's talking low, and you guys keep talking.
He just talks slow.
Oh, we just talk. Okay, I just thought it was me.
Probably got people sleeping in his house.
Yeah, everybody's sleeping. But the great thing about the iPhone, using it this way, is that you're capped. You know what I'm saying? It's not a money pit with this. If once you get into PCs and those high tech things, next thing you know, you gotta get a high tech camera, you gotta get a high tech mic, then you gotta get a damn gimbal, then you gotta get a riding track, and then you gotta do this and do that.
Yep.
I ain't got time for that, man, because it's way too much money when I can get something that looks decent off a handheld phone.
No, exactly. Your videos look great. Right. The only thing I would tell you, HipFilm 4 Express is free.
What's that? Express.
HipFilm 4 Express, the one I use, is free.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's not lacking all that much. Trust me, all the stuff I made with that, and it's free.
Good deal. Well, I'm pretty sure it has all the features that iMovie has, because they're pretty hating on this, man. They had an update on this in like 3 years.
Yeah,
I don't know
what I mean. I like, and you're right. If you can do it on your phone, I can. I got big fumbly fingers, and an S7 Edge is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, right. It's a nice phone, but
yeah, I know what you said. I mean, it definitely has its hiccups. Man, you know what, Clemens Mo, man, I was watching your video. Well, how can I get my hands on one of those Prestology pumps or whatever, man? Those pumps you got like for your calcium reactor. Man, those things, man. Listen, my
Oh,
calcium
the
reactor.
dialysis pumps?
Yeah, man, that thing's been ticking. Man, my calcium reactors. I'm about to throw it out the window. I'm so sick of this
Dude,
thing, man.
Yeah, that's a big problem I was having too, was with fluctuations in the parameters
It's the
and us.
pressure. It's the pressure, the back pressure
Yeah,
on the
big time.
CO2 line. I
Yep,
think that peristaltic pump would eliminate that because it pulls
that's what
water
it did
through.
for me. Yeah, it
Yeah.
puts all the pressure on the pump, and
Yes.
then the pump just slowly doses it out. So
Yeah.
I found them on eBay. You can get used ones. They're like $500-600, but they're used, so you have to get them and then test them out. And
Right.
I've gone through a
Well,
couple. I had to return my first one, but
well, damn. Well, let me backpedal a little bit now. You say how much they cost. Let me back on out of that conversation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get me a
yeah,
carbon doser.
it's an expensive little toy, but
I'm gonna try a carbon doser instead.
Those dollars
or
for used
dude, or a needle valve, man. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
needle
West
valve will
Coast said
do
take
it.
it off the manifold. Yeah, but maybe I need to take it off the manifold, man. But you know what? The manifold flow is really, honestly, I think it's pretty consistent. It's very low.
How big is the tube supplying your calcium reactor?
Push. I got it reduced down to a push connect on a ball valve.
Oh.
That's barely even letting water trickle through from the manifold. So it's very, very low flow coming through it. But
Yeah,
I
my
guess it's
problems
still
with
enough.
that. My problems with the whatever I had on the end of it, like the pinch valve or the needle valve, was just clogging up. You know, so.
Yeah. See, I'm reducing the flow on the way into the reactor, not coming out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
I would
do.
have thought that would have eliminated the problem, but my reactor's in my sump though. It's in water. So me and Dave went over this multiple times. Dave told me what to do. I just haven't done it yet. I need to raise it up and get it out of that sump because
There you
the
go.
whole reactor is submerged halfway in the water.
Yep.
So
Well, I test alkalinity every morning, dude. That's every morning. I'm just paranoid about fluctuations.
That calcium reactor is supposed to be run that way, though, right, CJ?
you can run it submerged or external. I just got mine in the sump just because it's safer there, because just in case it leaks or kids mess with it or something.
Right.
But
it's kind of hidden.
A lot of kids been throwing things in the fish tank lately. You hear that more and more.
Yeah,
that Reef God's kid went under his stand and just started playing like daddy and pouring bottles in the sump.
Oh, so West Coast saying there is a difference. So even though I got it reduced off the manifold, it still causes more pressure.
What was the kid dumping in the tank? Probably like super meat or something.
He didn't say, but everything died. Everything. Every fish died. He had a bag of fish, and they weren't cheap fish. I mean, some nice tangs. And
all his corals died too?
No, his corals were okay. So I don't know what it was, but I'm gonna throw the link in the chat again.
Yeah, please do.
Someone was saying they had their regulator. It sounded like the regulator on the needle valve was getting clogged up. Was that on the regulator of the CO2 tank, or were you talking on the affluent line?
On the affluent line.
Okay.
Constantly getting plugged up. Slowing down the drip rate, and then your alkalinity drops, and then you're like, well, what the hell? And you try to adjust it up, and then it goes way up, and yeah.
That's why I still hand dose everything. Pain in the ass, man.
Yeah.
I know how much I'm putting in.
Man, your tank's looking good, man. Your tank's definitely looking good. You got some big fat old fatties in there. Whales.
Knock on wood, man.
Oh yeah. I was watching them before he threw a piece of nori in there. I thought they were taking out a tank mate.
Listen, man, them fish is vicious. Hey, do you got your tank on the juice still? Are you still on the biopellet juice, or are you weaned off?
Yeah, with this one, the bare bottom, it runs so clean. I was fighting to keep nutrients in it, and so I just really slowly weaned off the biopellets. And if I ever get up into the nitrates again, then I'll do biopellets again. But right now, it's running just natural.
I had the same problem. That's why I lost some of my corals, man. My nutrients hit 0. It took me 3 or 4 days to get them to show. As a matter of fact, I threw 4 damselfish in the tank just to get some damn nitrates.
Yeah.
it took me to add more fish, but I finally got them, and that helped stabilize stuff with the Miracle Mud. So Miracle
That's
Mud.
a hard go. 4 damsels in a fish tank. Yeah, no, thank you.
At least you realize that was a problem, though. I mean, that's
Yeah. I got to look into
stupid.
that too. I need a little more.
Yeah, you better be careful, Dave. Listen, man, the funny thing was, I put that, when I first put it up on Instagram, the Zero, Rico texted me, was like, hey, dude, you better get some nutrients in your tank before shit goes bad. Next day, bleach. Next day, bleach. Next day, bleach. Next day, bleach. Bleach every freaking day.
Rico's corals eat.
That's kind of what's good about a refugium, though. I mean, because I don't think it'll ever strip your stuff to zero.
Oh, it does.
Because then it'll start to die.
I think the corals in my tank stripped it because I dumped 40 of them in there at once.
Yeah, they all ate it up.
They all ate it up.
But how old is that tank now, CJ?
I'm way ahead of schedule right now. I'm only like 10, 11 months.
Yeah.
I'm only like 10, 11 months. So
shouldn't even
I
be
still
walking.
have a lot of growing pain.
The tank shouldn't even be walking yet.
Listen, man, y'all know how I do things, man.
We know. We know. We're just along for the ride, brother.
I don't like doing one of anything. I like doing bulk.
Yep.
Bulk.
Go get some
purchases in bulk and bulk losses. I lose in bulk and buy in bulk. It is what it is.
Yeah. We can tell every time CJ's about ready to go to a pet shop, he starts stuttering and stuff.
I'm just going to look.
I'm just going to look. I love that. We take side bets in the chat.
Just getting my fix for the day.
We got action going in the chat.
Hey, you should see Clem's video, man. That video you did a couple weeks ago or whatever, when you was going to get that CO2, I was cracking up. Some guy on YouTube talking about this.
There's some of this guy on YouTube, man. I don't know. He says, "What? Be easy yourself." I don't know.
I was cracking up watching that, man. But you know what? I need to get another CO2 tank as well. I went to get one, and they told me I had to put a deposit down of like $150. So I need to find an old beat up CO2 can from somebody at a yard sale so I can go swap it because it'll be a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah,
eBay.
So
man, cheap. Yeah, eBay.
Yeah,
used one.
If I can get like a 10-pound can, I'll be good for a year with a 10-pound can.
Somebody's getting that at 100.
Right. Even a 5-gallon, even a 5-pound one last year.
Start getting into letter sizes. You know, give me a Q tank as big as one of your kids sitting next to the tank.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Well, cool guys. I'm gonna bounce out of here, but it's good talking to you guys.
Hey, nice to stop by.
Yeah, I'm
here. 2 a.m. 2 a.m. here. I don't even know
absolutely,
why.
Absolutely, 3 o'clock here. Yeah, absolutely fabulous talking to you guys.
No problem. Glad to catch you, man, before you head out.
For sure.
Yeah,
Stick with it, CJ.
More and more.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to scoot over there and check out CJ's video before I get off.
Oh, that's a good way to put you to sleep.
Yeah. It'll work.
Yeah.
Give me nightmares. Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to jump off too, guys. I got my 15 minutes of CJ, so I can go to sleep now.
Okay.
All right. I'm putting everybody to bed. Damn.
More milk and CJ.
Yeah, the baby's sleeping, so it's time for me to go to sleep.
Oh yeah. You better get it in. You better get it in while you can.
Have a good night, guys. I'm sure I'll see you over the weekend at some point.
Yep. Good night, Jeff.
See you guys.
Later.
Good night.
Damn, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come in and put everybody to bed, dude.
No, that's all right. I was waiting for them to leave so I can go to bed.
It's Friday night, man. I you know what? I cooked tonight, so I'm not gonna end up at the pub.
Yeah, got food all around. I was helping my son work on his car. We're trying to replace his front wheel bearings. Couldn't get the axles off, so I just threw him my keys. He wanted to go to his girlfriend's house. I was like, "Here, we'll deal with it tomorrow."
Yeah, that sounds like a tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah, it was dark and almost raining. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, had grinders out and slamming shit with hammers. I was like, the neighbors ain't gonna like this.
Oh damn! I didn't know you had to do it like that, man.
Yeah, take my car. We'll play with it tomorrow.
Gonna rain all weekend. Snack. Oh yeah, I got some M&Ms up there. That's right.
I'm nailing these Reese cups.
I gotta sort out this calcium reactor, man. I had a 0.6 alk drop from this calcium reactor stuff not being consistent. So I think I got one or two more days of tinkering with it before I'm gonna have to dose the tank.
I got about 2 weeks left of Fritz Part A and Part B, 2-part, and then I'm gonna try switching to the BRS. But everybody's telling me that's light. Like I'm gonna need to pump more of it in. So it's gonna be a whole game.
You know, the funny thing is, man, we have so many conversations on here to where a lot of the things is basically common knowledge to us now because we talked about it so much.
Right.
So I was in the LFS, and one of the employees there was like, "Man, golly, I don't know what happened. I checked my salinity 3 months later, and it was way high." Without me saying another word, everyone in here knows what it was from.
Not putting
Take
regular
a guess.
fresh water.
He's dosing. He's dosing. What is he dosing to make his salinity go up like that over 3 months?
I don't know.
2-part. He's dosing the 2-part. Because you know the 2-part increases your salinity over time.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, well, never mind. It wasn't common
like
knowledge
a whole
to
bunch
everybody.
of it, though.
Nope.
I didn't know that either.
No.
Yeah, over time, it will raise it no matter what. Period. Because it has a salt content inside of it.
Right. It is all sodium this and sodium that. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it will raise it. So you're gonna have to do small changes every now and then to help, keep things in check.
Yeah, I'm usually balancing it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll overfill the sump a little bit with some salt water. So or vice versa, take some out.
Or like, to top it up, take some out, put some oil water in there or something to balance it out. But in either case, when I told him, man, I was like, yeah, that's exactly your problem, man. And someone told me his dosing. He was like, oh man, you know what? Damn, you're right. I was like, well, if you're hanging on the live stream, you would have caught that.
Yeah, and a lot of people are doing a lot less water changes, and that usually keeps it straightened out.
Yep.
Who just came in, Danny?
Danny, morning, guys.
Hey, morning. What's up, Danny?
How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Good. I've just been listening to you. I've had a bit of trouble getting in, but I'm in.
Yeah.
Welcome.
That's a crazy looking fish in your photograph there.
Oh yeah, I've got one. It lives in the bottom corner of my fish tank.
Yeah. Looks like he's smoking a joint.
That's not a joint. It's a roll up.
That's great.
Yeah, I changed the picture from my Hennessy Kush.
He's all right.
Yeah, but
did you guys watch the video with Mike Paletta and Sanjay?
Yeah, I watched that when I was cooking today. They were just hanging out, having a conversation. There was no real interview or anything. They was just kind of blabbing.
Yeah, kind of how I could listen to those two guys talk though.
Yes, I did pick up information from them though.
Yeah,
yeah.
Different. Did you hear what he said about the difference of running this tank at very high alkalinity?
Yeah,
how it changed some of the colors in his coils and stuff. I was like, oh, well, nuggets of information slipping out.
Killed his chalices, but he was seeing colors on his acros he'd never seen before.
Yeah, I gotta finish that video. I think tomorrow I'm gonna listen to the rest of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always get at least 1 or 2 nuggets from Sanjay. Sanjay gives you 1 or 2 nuggets every time. That makes you think.
I know. I got a friend who works in State College, and I want to go visit her just and try and bump into Sanjay.
Right.
Does he have a tank on campus? Can we go see where he works? Where's his office?
Is he like a professor somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an instructor or professor.
I heard him say something about sabbatical, so I figured he was.
The only thing I don't like about that video is its title.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the bioluminescence.
They talked about it halfway through. Like halfway through, he finally turned the blues on. But it was all Mike Paletta just bragging about how his tank was better the whole time. Man, that guy's kind of
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that dude, man. Like Sanjay's cool, laid back, but Paletta's like always like trying to sun him or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They've been doing that since the 70s to each other, though.
He's always trying to sun him, man.
They're part of the Fab Four, you know.
You know, like I'm gonna put him in the headlock and give him a noogie or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been friends a long time, so it's probably a running joke between them, and it just comes off bad on video.
Yeah.
But no, I watched Farm Boy's disaster video today.
Yeah. This tank exploding.
Yep.
Man,
His wife's reaching in the hole, taking snails out.
Can you imagine 700 gallons of water, though, man? Like,
yeah.
What happened to this tank?
Farm Boy Reef's 700 gallon blew out the front panel.
Front panel blew out.
Ran right through his house, down to his basement, and into his lab.
Ruined all those tanks too. So he lost all tanks from it. Every tank got took out.
Yep. He says he had a bad piece of glass in the front, but he says he'll never build another big tank.
So I guess he built that himself.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Hey, they had a very interesting conversation during that Sanjay thing about trying to breed corals, trying to get them to spawn.
The spawning, the one about spawn, Wumper.
Yep.
Yeah, like
doing moon cycles and stuff.
Yep. Like trying to purposely spawn those huge colonies they got. So
Sanjay's got some huge stuff. That's the difference between the two of them. Sanjay grows these huge things, and Mike Paletta just wants one of everything.
Yep. But did you hear the correlation between Sanjay's nutrients and his lights? You know,
no, I haven't even watched it yet.
I mean, his nutrients is through the roof, but that's why he's allowed to run his lights at 100%. Everything.
Wow.
I guarantee if his nutrients were low, he would be toast. Everything would be.
Yeah. And if I did that, you wouldn't see through the glass.
He said that through a previous video too. That higher nutrients, higher light.
I've heard Rico mention it.
Yep.
You know, but I haven't seen this video yet.
Oh yeah. I'm always bringing up stuff I see other places, man. Rico just shakes his head and laughs at me because he knows he already knows that I know that he knows. He's always trying to make me learn shit the hard way.
Yep.
I mean, learn stuff the hard way. Let me correct myself.
That's all right. It's 2 a.m. All the kids should be in bed. If they're not, they could be watching worse.
Yeah. This time of night, man, you watching reef videos and then end up on something else afterwards. YouTube has a way of putting you places you don't want to be.
All right. That's like falling asleep with a Showtime movie on.
Oh yeah, don't do
Waking
that.
up with something else and be like, whoa.
Wake up to all kinds of action, man.
Yeah. Soft porn, but porn all the same.
Hey, but yeah, if you guys have not seen it, man, because I put it on my Instagram like a few weeks ago, but I put it in this video. That feather starfish at the LFS I recorded. Red feather starfish, freaking crazy looking, man.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of macroalgae till it takes off and spins around the tank.
Exactly.
Do they call them crinoids? Is that what they are?
Yeah. We call them feather dusters or something, or feather stars.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
They never make it apparently.
They're hard to keep, and you need to target feed them. Actually, they can keep them at my LFS, but I think once they go out the door, they're doomed. Yeah, that's one of those things you got to know how to take care of. You just bring it home and drop flakes in. That's for sure. Yeah, the first time I saw that, nobody told me what it was, and I'm saying, "Oh, they got macroalgae. Look, what kind is that?" And then it picked up and like spun around the tank. I thought I was hallucinating. I threw my coffee out.
Yeah, I saw them have one at Absolute Fish the last time I was there.
Yeah, they had another one. What other color did they have? They had like a beige one too.
That's where I got my starfish.
They said it was the last beige one, and guess who bought the other one? Julian Sprung was in there last weekend and bought it.
What the hell is Alex? Alex, what, are you playing a flight simulator or something? Are you a fighter pilot? These headphones
No,
on.
he's
What
not
are you
even
doing?
paying
I
attention.
don't think he's listening.
He must be watching something.
He's watching Showtime. The late show
He's,
came on.
he's watching CJ's video.
I think it might be what he's doing, maybe. But you know what the good news is? I make a video and it allows me to clear out like 20 gigs of leftover footage on my phone that I was saving. So now I can move that out and finally start recording new footage about these lights, these radios. I'm gonna try to get these things up on Sunday. That's the plan.
Oh, that's right. You got the rails. You're ready to rock.
Yep. Let's see.
How was it? How was it, Alex?
Well,
What did you just watch?
I'm watching Farm Boys Reef.
Oh.
And
isn't it weird? Since the beginning, the video goes really fast. He's talking normal.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
that threw me off. I had to fast forward through it.
It's a weird effect.
He's
I'm
hyper enough. I don't need to see him on fast forward.
So
He's intense.
I take it he built this tank on his own.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he documented it and everything.
I mean, it looks to me like that glass, that bottom corner was twisting.
Yep.
And that's why it shattered.
I think you got a mantis shrimp in there.
It wasn't.
I would never build a tank myself that big ever, and I don't think he will anymore either.
No, I think one of his fish was packing a Glock.
I mean, it's rough. I mean, I know what that volume of water has to look like on the floor, and
man, listen, you can't even. His house got to be ruined, man.
Yep.
It's like him having a basement is probably the only thing that saved his floor. He gave the water somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying?
See, there's a reason that Alex G has not finished his basement, and it's because if I have a flood, whatever I put into finishing it will be just thrown out in the trash.
Yeah.
Right.
Shoot, I would just invest in multiple floor drains and sump pumps.
Just throw some FRP panels. Just throw some FRP panels over the cinder blocks. You'll be good.
I mean, it sucks. I hate seeing something like that. That's rough.
No, it sucks whether he built it, whether somebody built it. It doesn't matter. It still sucks. It's still salt water going through your house like that. Salt water is unforgiving. You're going to see that for years, the effects of that.
So is that a bad time for anybody to bring up the subs, the purchase subs?
Oh, buying subs? Yeah. Maybe that's karma, you saying?
I'm not going to say that. That's yours, buddy. But
I don't
see
really
now
know.
I'm kind of intrigued to go look at the rest of his build and see how he did it.
Right, I think it's well documented.
Yeah,
I got to be honest. When he started calling me a farmhand, I kind of lost interest.
Damn. Well, at least he responded to you. He never responded to any of my comments, so I don't think I feel happy about that.
Yeah, he was a real nice guy at Palooza. Shook my hand.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He seemed like he was in person. So
yeah,
but
more laid back. He always seems so intense in his videos, and he's more laid back at Palooza.
Let's see. Let's see. A 700 gallon video here. I'm gonna just look at it. I want to see the. I'm gonna have to go back further. I'm interested to see what he used for construction method.
Yeah. It all depends how straight his stand was and everything, but that's a lot of water. That's a lot more weight.
Yeah.
I built 100-gallon tank, and could that fail? Yes, it could. It's in a basement. It would suck, but
Well, it's the one thing. I mean, even my really big tank. I mean, the way the glass is, it's got like a 2.5 inch overlap of the frame.
Right.
to try and spread out all the forces. So, I mean, just the way that it looks like if it just cracked that corner of the tank, I would suspect that there was some kind of a leveling issue potentially, or the stand was warped and it was putting torsion on the glass.
Sure, I think he had a steel stand for that. I'm sure.
Well,
I'm looking at it. I don't know. I see wood here, but it's hard to say what he's got under the rest. The difficulty is that, you know, I mean, that's such a huge amount of weight, and now I'm going to have to pull the calculator out to do that.
And it was on the second floor. I mean, it wasn't even on. It wasn't on the basement either. There's a floor right below it. Like the basement was underneath the tank. That's so much weight.
Yep.
I mean, the 700 gallons of water was 5,600 pounds. So that whole tank and everything is well over
3 tons.
You know, yeah, you're getting into 3 tons. I mean, even with it's a crazy amount of weight. I mean, my tanks in the sumps, I think, weigh about 16,000 pounds.
Yep. It's crazy. You know, the tank and everything could have been square, but the floor starts to give out, and those things aren't square anymore.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Well, that's the thing is that when you have that massive amount of weight on a place for so long, I mean, things can adjust and move slightly.
Shit, even the house settling will screw you on that, wouldn't it?
Yep. All kinds of things happen. Just the weight of a house settling on itself changes everything.
I won't lie. I mean,
seams in sheetrock open up and big cracks form in these houses with cathedral ceilings. No, that's just plaster. That's not glass popping with water pressure behind it.
And I won't lie. I mean, my tanks are on a cement floor that, per the building code, is undisturbed earth, where they poured the cement per code. But I mean, there's a lot of weight on that floor. And it's my watch. I do keep an eye on my floor and stuff, because that's one thing I always fear, is that something ships.
Yeah, well, you know what? Listen, if it happens, Alex, just go ahead and pack a U-Haul upstairs, all the stuff, and just sell the house as is. Just move the hell away.
Yeah.
Hey,
and hope your wife comes with you.
It's too bad you weren't here for Chicago Aquatic Experience, TJ, because when I had Rico and Tim down in my basement, we were talking. I was like, because I think the question kind of, well, would you ever, you know, like, would you go bigger or do anything else? And I was like, well, I had this idea that, you know, my garage, I could fit a tank in there that's several thousand gallons to the garage door and just have it forklifted in, set down, seal the garage off with insulation, heat, its own electric. My wife heard that from the upper floor, and she opened the basement door and was like, I don't think so.
She knew some bad thoughts were happening in that basement. You had your reef tank buddies over conjuring up some craziness.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, man, I can make the 1,600 gallon system like a sump. I don't know. When I look at how tanks are built, though, if I was going to do it again, and if I wanted to go bigger, what I probably would do is I would buy all the glass, but I would build a frame around it, and I would make it so that the glass is not just the RTV seal, but also it has something on all the corners of it, holding it like a big frame.
Right.
Whether it be steel or wood or concrete.
They used to have those chrome tanks that had that.
I mean, at a certain size like that, isn't it just better just to go ahead and go acrylic? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even do glass when you can just have acrylic that's bonded at a molecular level, really thick glass, like inch thick?
Well, so I talked to, during the Chicago Aquatic Experience, I talked to Custom Aquariums that's up in Wisconsin, and they told me if you go with tempered glass, they will go 48 inches tall. They will not go taller than that. That's as far as they go. Because when you temper glass, the strength of it is dramatically increased exponentially. Like my glass is not tempered, and I could say that I don't know if Tall Farm Boy's Reef tank is here, the 700. I think it looks like it's about 36 inches. And I don't know what thickness of glass he went with, but I know when I was researching 3/4 inch glass that's not tempered, the highest you ever want to go with it is 36 inches. Beyond that, you need 1 inch. And I didn't look into tempered at the time, but after talking to Custom Aquariums, they said they don't deal with 1 inch. They only go 3/4, and they will go 48 inches tall if it's tempered.
Yeah. You see this? It's the biggest glass aquarium.
It's pretty damn deep.
In Dubai.
I mean, technically, if you go by what they can get a sheet of glass in, if you wanted to make like the biggest glass box you could, then you would be looking at something that's 12 feet long, 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, by, it'd be a 12 by 4 by 4 if you were using single sheets of glass. That's as big as you could technically go without some kind of special order.
Listen, man, enough's enough. You hear me? Enough is enough, man. There is a such thing as too big.
Hey, now, I wouldn't put it past Rico. I see Rico potentially doing something like a 12 by 4 by 4.
I think eventually he'll go so big to where he regrets it.
My hang up is that once I get beyond the size I'm at, is it like now the acrylic thing, I don't like acrylic because it scratches.
Well, that's what they was talking about. That's what they was talking about. The Mike Paletta and them. I mean, they was thinking long term. We're not getting any younger. Like, how are you going to maintain a system that big? Like, physically be able to maintain it when you get old?
And
that
it's not to say that you can't. The thing is, with acrylic, you can get scratches out with the right work. And it's possible. With glass, once it's there, it's there. But the thing with acrylic, it's so easy to scratch. I mean, that was my nightmare as a maintenance person, is cleaning acrylic tanks, because I'm going to go through with the acrylic scraper to get coralline off or something, and it's going to put some big giant scratch through the middle of the tank, and now one, the customer's upset, and two, it's not something that you can it doesn't go away.
Right.
When I was doing research on it, I read that pretty much what I read on acrylic was you only get a few more years out of it than you do glass.
Right.
From what I read, the seals will eventually break on acrylic too, or become I can't remember, like dry rotted kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Like stiff and brittle. Yeah.
The one other thing you got to consider is that if you go with a large glass tank, it could be broken down and pulled out of that in panes of glass, cleaned off and reassembled.
Right.
Whereas an acrylic tank, once it's bonded together, unless you cut it apart with a saw, make it a little smaller and rebond it, it's done. I mean, there is no going back once it's bonded.
Right. That's where it's staying.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll admit, like my wife, she looked at my tank. She's like, what a waste of money. You're going to have to throw these tanks away if we ever move because they can't physically fit out of the basement. And I said, the glass is something I can keep.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the glass.
Or all the equipment.
No, and that's just it. I can keep most of the equipment. I can keep the glass.
You're
The
leaving
plywood
Yeah.
boxes itself would be either I'm going to cut them down to a frag tank size that they can get out of the basement, or I just cut them up for scrap.
Yep.
But most of it, yeah, most of it's all salvageable.
If you rebuilt it, would you just combine them to be one solid tank with 2 viewing panels? Like instead of the 720 and 420, just make it one whole tank, one whole display tank.
No, I'd probably keep it separate still, so I can separate my animals.
That would be a badass drop-off tank, though.
Well, to be honest, my ultimate dream tank, when I first started talking about doing this, it was going to be a giant drop-off tank that was literally an 8-foot by 8-foot square, with half of it being 2 foot deep and half of it being 4 foot deep. But when I started looking at the engineering required, I didn't feel confident that I could build that
Right.
and not have leaks or run into problems in the future. And then it's separated into, we'll just make it 2 tanks next to each other. It's more or less a drop-off tank in a way. And you can keep the reef in one side and the aggressive fish in the other.
We lost somebody.
It was Murphy dropped out.
Oh. His beard was scratching his mic anyway.
But I don't know. I mean, honestly, if I had more space, I'd love to go with something else. It's just, I don't think that I could afford much more beyond what I've done.
You have done enough, man. You have nothing left to prove, Alex.
Yep.
Well, it's just the animals I wanted to keep, I could keep them in the tanks that I have.
Right.
I can't wait to see the animals you have in there that are actually deserving to be in there. You know, once they're fully grown, the ones that really say, okay, this is why he has this big ass tank. Like,
exactly.
It's a 2.5 foot tank swimming past.
Right. Swimming past a 4 foot acro
black tip shark or something, man. You gonna put in the
No,
shark?
we're not. There's only one species of shark I'd ever consider, and that's an epaulet shark, and I don't even know if I'd do that.
Why not?
One, they're expensive, and 2, I would be a little concerned that puffers and triggers might decide to take takes on them.
Oh, right. I thought sharks maybe were too nasty, like bioload wise or something.
What are you eating, CJ?
Oh, my bad. Let me mute this mic.
I mean,
I hear you cracking something open.
The biggest thing with sharks is, I mean, like, I hear, like, black tip reef shark. I don't even have a big enough tank for one of those.
Okay, the shark eggs that they sell in the fish tank that are clipped to the side of the tank on the veggie clips. What's in them?
So,
what do you got to look forward to?
Well, a lot of those are some kind of cat shark.
Right.
And some of them get up to like 3.5 feet.
Oh, okay.
And even my 720-gallon tank is a little on the small side for them.
Now, are they active? A lot of times I see sharks at the pet store and they're just like chilling on the bottom.
Well, that's the thing. You want a shark like that swims constantly, then you need to start thinking multi-thousand-gallon tank.
Right. I want Smithsonian hammer shark with tunnel through it.
I mean, you want something that is interesting. I mean, some of the horn sharks seem like they're they might be kind of interesting. They don't get as big. The epaulet shark kind of crawls around rocks. It's a pretty sturdy animal from what I've read on them. But it still goes back to, if you have other animals like puffers, triggers, something that might pick at them while they're resting.
Right.
I mean, it's just not going to be good for the animal. It's the same thing with stingrays. I would be interested to maybe keep a stingray.
Be constant stress.
Yeah, Tim says you have
Well,
a basement, just build another tank.
I do, and while I'd like to, Tim. Yeah, now I'm looking through Tim's messages here to see what else he put in. She would not be happy.
That's your buddy Tim,
that
right?
would probably be a thing. I do have space to build another tank, but no, the wife would not be happy.
Right.
Oh, Alex, man, I'm glad you're on here. I just thought about something. I just put my order in with Neptune. I got a WXM module coming for these lights. How are you liking yours, man?
The WXM?
Yeah.
I like mine just fine. Rico said he went with a Reef Link, and when I bought my Radions, I did quite a bit of reading.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that kind of turned me off slightly to the Reef Link, at least, was a lot of people have reported that their little cloud, their Ecotech Live, or the service that they're running cloud-based is not always accessible, which is a little deterring to me in this day and age of the Internet of Things. But also having the Apex already, I looked at the options on the WXM, and it's pretty cut and dry to program it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's why I ended up going with the WXM. We had a huge debate for like a week and a half on it. I even put a poll on my channel. I ended up going WXM, man. I feel like it's gonna be best for me.
The other thing with the WXM too, because I know that I have seen at least a couple of arguments at forums where folks have said, well, you can't use the same profiles that Ecotech has for like Coral Lab and stuff. Well, no, it's not a preset, but guess what? I logged into Ecotech Live. I took the settings they have and the times they had. I copied them over to one light, and then I replicated it on all 4 of my lights.
And that's it. It's just a little more handwork.
Yeah.
But if you're capable of doing it, then it's no problem.
And the other thing is,
mm-hmm.
with my tank, I have LPS that are going to be on one side of the tank and then more SPS on another. Another thing I really am looking to do is take one of those lights and reprogram it to possibly have less intensity.
Mm-hmm. Can you not do that with the Reef Link?
I don't know. I'm sure you can. I don't know. The way I felt that this WXM is a nice little module. I think they're both good options. I think the one thing too that's a little bit of and this I think is just the tension between Apex, Neptune, and Ecotech is that if people have things like Vortex pumps that they want to control, the WXM does not control those.
Right.
It'll do or not Vortex pumps. I'm thinking I can't think of the name of their return pump at the moment.
The vectors or whatever.
It doesn't do vector control, but it does Vortex and Radion control. Mm-hmm. So if you have a return pump you want to control it won't control that, which I can see if you have that, it's kind of a detriment.
All right. See, I would be shifting my tank more towards everything Apex, like a core pump that can be controlled, and like the P mump, because all of those can be controlled by Aquabus cable, which frees up outlets, which helps you run your entire system off one EB8. That's very, very, very attractive. If I used a Reef Link, I would have to use another plug for it. You know what I'm saying? That would take up a whole other outlet for no reason.
Yeah, my Radions aren't on the Aquabus at all. They're on separate circuit.
Right.
It's nice to just have the wireless control, and like I don't have any Vortex pumps at the moment, but I might eventually have some. So just have to see. I don't know. I'm happy with it though as the WXM. But I'm also a little cautious on what I put on my Apex, like my return pump, not on there, and it never will be.
Right.
I mean, just because there's only a handful of scenarios that can happen for my reflow hammerhead, and it's either there's a leak somewhere, and I dump either the full display and the sump tank, or I dump the sump tanks on the floor, or the reflow is just leaking. Which, because it's a pump with a seal, even if it runs dry, it won't hurt it. I'd rather that thing just run itself to death than somehow be able to shut off.
Huh.
I mean, my next big thing is I want to get a camera watching the tanks so I can see what they're doing when I'm not home.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, man. That would be pretty cool. I was thinking about trying to sneak one behind my lazy boy, somewhere where little CJ couldn't get to it.
Right.
Yeah, I have one IP camera now that I'm gonna probably set up maybe this weekend so I could watch it from work and stuff. And it's just a fixed camera, but I think I'm gonna get a couple pan tilt zoom cameras that I can watch the rest of the fish room, the displays.
Yeah, I thought Ice Cap had the submersible wireless cameras.
Yeah, I get a little nervous on the submersibles just because if a seal breaks, what the heck is it going to dump into my tank as far as
all kinds of copper, all kinds of whatever's in electronics.
Yeah,
you don't even want to know.
I mean, if I could have something watching from the outside, I'm content with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I think the pan
PTZs.
tilt zoom, at least for me though, I could, because of the layout of my system and having two displays, I could have a fixed camera looking at one, a pan tilt zoom that looks at like the reef tank and my RO station, and then one in the fish room so that I could see what's going on in there.
Yeah, you wouldn't have them all running through the Apex, but you could just have them all come up, when you want to look through one app.
Yeah, and I actually just emailed O today asking him if he's seen anyone do a setup on an IP camera in Apex. I know it's possible.
Yeah, the business.
But I haven't.
The business.
I haven't tried it.
The Biz. Yeah, the Biz. The guy has on it. He does. He got everything on his, man.
Yeah, he's a good Apex guy too.
Mm-hmm.
O knows
That's
this
why
stuff, but the business might be on another level.
Yeah, I think the Biz. Listen, I gauge people's level by how many modules they got. You know what I'm saying? Because the more modules they got, the more they have to understand how it all interfaces together. I think the Biz has his dashboard's like 3 pages long. I think.
And the Biz also takes a little more pride in wiring than O.
Never see what you're saying. Don't trust a guy with messy wires and no modules. Is that what you saying?
My big thing with Apex, just because I look at an Apex and I see it similar to what a BMS or a building monitoring system is, and with critical systems, just because of the job environment I work in, you never rely on just one thing to control stuff, and that's in part why I don't put everything on the Apex, because I want a lot of the critical stuff on it, but there's some things like the return pump. While the energy bar is supposed to fail and not disturb the programming or anything, just let it run. Just because of professional experience with systems that cost ridiculous amounts of money beyond what an Apex does, and see them have potential programming failures or hardware failures, I just go, you know what? Some things I'd rather be a dumb device like the return pump where it's plugged in and all it knows how to do is be on and it can't shut itself off unless the circuit breaker pops.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Loki
return
said that Kevin has a IP camera on his Apex too.
Yeah, Tim. Did you see it about the security system using your security system camera for it?
Yeah, that's possible. They always give you one free camera with your system that you can hook up. You can tell the guy to put it wherever you want. He won't put it in your bedroom though.
That's funny.
No, he won't. They're not allowed. We're not allowed at ADT because it was a common request. Believe me.
So you can access.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing with something like ADT because I don't want to get into what I do, but
You're
I
better
have
off
different
setting
types
it up
of
on your own.
cameras for things.
If you already have it from ADT, that's one thing. But if you're looking to get into it, they're very expensive. You can set it up on your own, and it's free. They're going to charge you a monthly service for something that's free.
And like my the IP camera that I have that's positioned to watch one of my tanks right now, it's a fairly nice IP camera because I got it to try and initially I bought it to try and do a little bit of filming of bioluminescence because it has some starlight capabilities, although I haven't messed around with it more to see if it'll do it.
Right. Now, Tim's saying he has 14 cameras. Yeah, there's Hike Vision. You can get 16 cameras going. Hook it up yourself.
I'm about to drop out. I'm about to drop out, fellas.
Yeah, I'm
catch you
going
guys
next 3. I'm going definitely before 3. So
I see 14 cameras, and I think of one of my ex coworkers where he had pan tilt zooms all over his property, and he's like, "Yeah, my wife used to get upset when I'd follow her around with cameras for fun," and I was like, "Jeez, man, it's pretty crazy."
No, there's definitely a lot of stuff, and some of the security companies are charging you for things that we install them. The guy who sells us the DVR goes in and sets it all up for us, and we just hand you the notepad that he puts on your desktop, basically. And,
well, a lot of it you got to think about too is how much you got to look at how much throughput on your internet you're putting too, depending on the quality of the camera footage you're doing on the stream.
No, it's only when you're looking at it that you're using the internet because it's all recorded in your NVR on site.
Oh yeah, see, my IP camera doesn't even have. I don't even have a DVR for it. Like the way I'm looking to set it up, it's going to be straight. Log into it and watch it if I want to.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't want to archive it in any way, then you don't need to.
Yeah. I know. I've been when my house flooded a year and a half ago. I had cameras that witnessed it happen, and for some reason I didn't look at them because the weekend I was having when I was out of town was high stress. And after we came home to the flood, I remember looking at them and going, I don't really think it was a good idea to see this in the DVR. Because it just upset me even more.
Right. Meldium says he wishes he would like to have a IP camera on his Apex, but he doesn't know how. It's more of a hack. I don't even think there's like an Apex code for it. You got to kind of know how to write the code, I think is what the business was saying.
I mean, and I haven't even figured it out because I was trying to do it with my IP. I was hoping originally I could put my IP camera and the Apex on the same LAN and have it do a direct link, but I couldn't figure out the coding. I mean, I'm looking to do something like a DDNS for my IP camera now so I could just access it on the internet on an outside program.
Right. See, you understand it better than I do. So if Brian Business were to tell you, it would make sense. You know what I mean?
I don't claim to be an expert with this at all because
no, I don't even have
I haven't
one.
really messed around with and haven't made it work yet. So
I don't even have one, but he's got a window right on his Neptune app where he can see his camera right on his dashboard. So
yeah, and like I said, I toyed around with that. I just haven't been able to make it work, and
Yeah.
we'll
He
see. Maybe
figured
the
it
next time I try this, I'll make it work because
Well,
I'm looking at it as I don't care if I could see it through Apex or another program. I just want to be able to see it.
Right. Well, a lot of these cameras that you buy online just come with a program. You just load an app on your phone and, tell it where to find it.
Now,
And
one
you'll
thing
have-
I will say, if you're going to use something like a drop cam, they are not the best thing to look at an aquarium with if you're going to put it close to the aquarium.
Right.
And that's one thing I'd look at with cameras is understand how it works, because something like a drop cam is intended to, it only refreshes the part of the image that changes.
Hey, can
It's
you
not
see the
like
chat?
it's not like a full stream, because they designed it initially to be it takes a picture, and unless it changes, it doesn't update it. But
Right.
when you look at an aquarium with corals waving and fish swimming around, it does not like that at all.
Do you see the YouTube chat? Because Phil just told you how he did it.
That just sounds like a lot of work.
Well, yeah, the Raspberry Pi is a whole nother game.
And now I got to buy other. I'll admit I had to get another router so that I could do the setup that I wanted, because my other one was such an old pile of crap.
Right. I think I'm done, guys.
All right, Dave. I'm about done too.
Yeah, I don't know who you'd talk to if I left. There's a few people in here, but I don't know if they're awake.
I'm getting off too. So.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, I'm awake, but I'm
Thanks,
off
Dave.
too. Good night, Dave.
Good night. Thanks for
All right,
stopping by,
Dave.
guys.
Thanks for hosting.
Hey,
Night,
no
Dave.
problem. Good night.
Later,
See you
guys.
all later. See you all later on the next one.
Yep.